The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here alongside the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be covering the 46th anniversary show, the first 3 nights of the New Japan Cup, and the Ring of Honor anniversary, and of course, all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Make sure you support the Social Suplex Podcast Network by subscribing on the podcasting app of your choice and leave a rating and review. You can also get all the podcast archives along with our columns at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe to sign up and to get all the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. All right, Josh, we've had a busy week of watching wrestling, a lot of shows to talk about, so let's not waste time and dive in. New Japan 46th anniversary show.
Man, this man, Jeremy, no foreplay. He wants to get right to it. Bang, bang, boom.
Boom. Let's knock it out.
You get in, you get done, you get gone, Jeremy Donovan. You dog.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
And sometimes not even a thank you. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's do this.
All right, so we had the 46th anniversary show. This happened on March 6, 2018 in the Ota City General Gymnasium.
I don't know where it was, but it was pretty packed wherever it was.
Yeah, packed house.
Good show, good size crowd, good audience.
Show kicked off. We had Taguchi, Kushida, Tiger Mask, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Tenzan taking on Narita, Yagi, Umino, Oka, and Yuji Nagata.
I would like to say, man, this was just last Monday.
Yes.
Feels like this show happened like a year ago.
Like a lifetime ago, right?
This has been a busy week.
Yeah.
So starting off with this Young Lions match, I just want to say, I thought this Young Lions match was really good.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in this match was fired up.
Not just that, but remember the Young Lions got that jump on the veterans?
Yeah. And
they kind of pulled like a little mini Suzuki-gun action there.
Jump the bell. Yeah, it's like the last few Young Lions matches, they've been pretty like aggressive and pretty fired up and taking it to the veterans.
Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon. It's not like you never see that, but it was kind of interesting because I feel like we watch a lot of Young Lions matches, and I don't know how you feel about them, but I love them.
Yeah, I think they're awesome.
I mean, my name's the Young Boy for a reason. But I get a kick out of these matches, and they're typically very good, but this one seemed to have a little more oomph on it. Like it kind of showcased the Young Lions a little bit more, and I kind of like that, especially like with, we'll talk more about it, but kind of like the Kinemora's kind of like leaving, and Hikuleo just got promoted, and Kawada went to CMLL. This kind of has opened up a vacuum where these guys are all starting to step up a bit, and you saw that really highlighted. I think everybody in the entire division for the Young Lions team. I mean, from Narita, Oka, Umino, Yagi, all these guys, and then obviously Papa Nagata. they really got to, and I think that helped too that they had Nagata on their team, that they really got to showcase.
I think that gave them like a boost of confidence having Nagata on their team, gave them like a real chance, like maybe we could win this thing.
Like my dad can beat up your dad type stuff.
Right. My dad will put you in an arm bar, roll his eyes in the back of his head.
But I thought this was very good. I thought it was one of the better multi-man young lion matches we've seen this year. I mean, of course, it's not blow-away. But
I mean, a great opener.
This is a very good opener. It's one of the strongest openers of the year.
Out of these young boys, who looked most impressive to you?
Well, I mean, that's kind of a loaded question because I think all of them have their different strengths. I think top to bottom, the guy with the most upside to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, I think it's Oka.
Yeah.
And I think he's the most prominent in a certain respect to where he's higher on the card than the other three guys are right now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's done such a great job of slimming down and losing a lot of weight.
It was weird. He looked more muscular here again, though. It's like he's losing the fat and building
muscle. Yeah, I mean, he's still more lean from when we very first started seeing him.
Which was only like a little while ago. Too.
Right. So, but yeah, like you mentioned, he looks like he's starting to put on muscle. I mean, another guy I think we gotta look out for is Narita.
That's my like low-key favorite guy, but he's clearly lower than Yagi and Umino when it comes to the young boys.
Right, but I feel every time he's in the ring, though, he leaves his mark.
Every time he's in the ring, and I don't hear anyone else, it's not like, I listen to other podcasts that cover New Japan, and I listen to other publications, nobody talks about Narita. And this guy's been like my favorite since like, I've been on the Narita bandwagon since like the first Young Lions.
If you go back into the archives, I mean, we covered the Young Lions Cup tournament back in December, and I mean, we were both pretty big on Narita.
I just feel like when they had their singles matches, Narita was the one guy that gave every single other young lion their best match. He's the most fundamentally sound, and he does the little things well. He knows how to, like, his timing is really good. His selling is excellent. His mechanics are good, but just like his timing, like he knows how to build a match, and he has a better ring psychology and ring IQ than the other guys do, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, obviously the guy that's being pushed as the new ace of the young boys is Umino.
It's Umino.
Yeah.
What do you think of Umino right now?
I mean, I think he's very good. I can see why they're kind of behind him. You know, obviously, I think it helps too that his dad is Red Shoes. But regardless of that fact, I mean, he's still very good, and he's definitely a guy that I think could make an impact in the future.
We were talking the other night. You think they're ever gonna do like a biased referee storyline?
Yeah, I think it was Rich that was mentioning that, like, they should do that. Like,
I've actually seen other people talk about that in the past, like especially during the Young Lion Cup. They were like a little bit of nepotism playing in here. Come on,
right?
But yeah, I think Umino is one of the best hot tags. I think he kind of took Kawato's spot where like he gets to come in and do the more fiery stuff and the bigger stuff, and he's good at it. Like every time he's showcased, he impresses me. So I like, and then Yagi's good, but I don't know who Yagi pissed off, but he's the whipping boy in every match.
Yeah, I mean he even going back when he got his head shaved by Suzuki.
I don't know if maybe it's because they see more in him and they're trying to build respect,
or maybe they're trying to bring more out of him. Like they see the potential. Maybe he's not as aggressive as they want him to be,
or maybe he's a DIRL.
Yeah, and
they need to bring him down a peg because he seems like he gets the worst beatings out of everybody. From every time a veteran interacts with him, they lay into him way harder than the other guys. It's weird.
Yeah, it's been one of those cases at the dojo. Maybe he's a little mouthy or got the bad attitude, or I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but I mean, this match could have easily just been your standard, like, young lions come in, they get squashed,
Right.
Tenzan does, I don't know what they're called, but the whoosh, like the chops. And Tiger Mask could have split Yagi open again like he did the last show. But this wasn't really that. This was competitive, and everybody kind of made you believe a little bit that the young lions could win. Obviously, they didn't. Here, what ended up happening?
Right. So obviously the veteran team got the win here.
Oh yeah, it was Kushida.
Yeah.
Kushida ended up cutting off Umino.
And he got him in the hoverboard lock, right?
Yeah. Oh, but remember he I think he tried to go for a pinfall there. It might have been a different match because they did this spot a couple times on the tour, but where he tried to roll him up for the 1-2-3 and he almost got it, and then it went into a straight armbar and he got the tap out.
Right, I think that's what it was. I think he got I think it was this match. Yeah, he got the armbar,
and it was really good, straight, solid armbar. 1-2, tapped out super quick.
Right,
and nothing crazy. 7 minutes 35 seconds. I would go like kind of high in this. I was like 3.25.
I was like at 3.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was really,
I liked it a lot.
Really solid opener. Next up, we had the Chaos team of Toru Yano, Ishii, and Goto taking on Toa Hanare, David Finlay, and Juice. What the hell are you wearing, Robinson?
I don't even know what Juice is doing right now, man. Like, when I see Juice come out, you guys have to excuse me. I'm kind of getting over a little cough here, so my voice is all messed up. But Juice came out wearing some bullshit.
Well, I think you were like, man, it's like a mix of like 90s Shawn Michaels
and like Brutus Beefcake,
Velveteen Dream,
some Adam Rose is thrown
Jeff
in there.
Jarrett.
It reminds me of Jeff Jarrett a lot.
With especially like the glasses.
Yeah, that hat reminds me of like 90s
Shawn Michaels. Yep.
And he's got furry, fuzzy stuff all over. It's just weird. It's cool. I think it's nice because it shows that they're building him up a little bit. We'll talk more about his month, but giving him, I think in New Japan, usually if you get new gear, it usually is a transition to a new stage of your character's life.
Right.
But I don't know what he's supposed to be.
Neither do I.
I mean, we already talked about his gimmick.
Yeah, we already know what the gimmick is, but still, like...
But yeah, I mean, cool for Juice though. He seems to be fired up, and I mean, he's still performing as well as ever. So I mean, that's cool. But yeah, so I mean, we got the Chaos team here going against Juice and his jobber friends.
Yeah, seriously. It's like as soon as you see Toa Hanare jump out the tunnel or David Finlay coming out, you're like, well, that team's taking the L.
Yeah, and surprise, surprise, we start off the match with Hanare and Ishii just going right at it again.
Right, because, obviously Hanare has a death wish. He doesn't value his life and wants to try Ishii at every chance he can get.
It is funny because Ishii's role in the company, like, he's one of the most important guys. He gets, even though, like, he hasn't had a lengthy title run in a while, he's typically built, like, he's had more singles matches than any non-champion of the year. So, I mean, he's an important guy, but he's always showcased as, like, everyone respects him for a reason, but he's always like this underdog character who's having to like chop bigger guys down.
Right, because I mean, I think sometimes we forget like how small Ishii is. I mean, he walks out. I mean, the way he walks through the ring, you would think he's like 6'6", like 275 or something.
When I think of Ishii, I think he's like Scott Norton, and he's nowhere near Scott Norton's size. But I think he's big like that.
Yeah, but he carries himself like that.
He's so believable.
But then you see him like go, face to face with a guy like Lance Archer or like Keith Lee. And you see
and he's so small.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about this is one of the few times where like someone is trying to out Ishii, and he's not the underdog. Like, he's clearly like, and it shows kind of like, even though Hanare has a gimmick and stuff, he's not. He's still in that lower tier, and so there are tiers in New Japan, and that's kind of being showcased here. And I mean, and Ishii is killing Hanare. The only thing I like, a lot of other people like Hanare, and maybe we're unfairly negative against him. I just don't enjoy watching him in the ring as much. Right. I don't know, for whatever reason.
Like, I think he's fine in the ring, but the thing that really attracts me is the gimmick that he has.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, we get it. You're a New Zealander, like, we get it. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just we've been overexposed to gimmicks like that in the past, and
well, I wasn't digging him as a young lion, but I liked him better in the black gear than it is now.
Right.
With that being said, he's definitely been showing signs of improvement, that sort of thing. But at the same time, every time him and Ishii go at it, it starts to get me over on Hanare. Like, I'm like, all right, like let's, because if he turns into a bruiser like Ishii and he's out here killing people, I'm gonna be on the Hanare like hype wagon. Like,
right. I mean, he could be one of those guys that ends up in the never division, and then just throwing blows of guys like Suzuki and Ishii and Goto.
Yeah. That being said, this was, your standard 6-man tag match on the undercard of a New Japan show. You had Toru Yano doing his like shenanigans. You had Goto being Goto, which is just right where I mean, if you know Goto, then you know what that is.
Right.
And Ishii like just being like the toughest man in the world, just killing guys. Hanare Juice and David Finlay, I think, were a great foil in this match, because you got Finlay doing his wild athletic stuff, Hanare trying to come in and throw bombs and bruise guys, but he just is not quite up to the task yet. And then Juice being Juice,
Juice just
he's a star,
punching people and cannonballs and
But essentially, this ended up getting to a point where Juice and Finlay both hit planchas to the outside on Ishii and Toru Yano, leaving Goto and Hanare in the ring together. Goto hits the Ushigoroshi, and then the GTR.
GTR, yep, gets the pinfall on Hanare.
I mean, and I think as soon as one problem in New Japan a little bit, and I don't know if it's so much a problem, but it is one thing, is like sometimes they're not easy to predict, but then other times it's like we watch a match and as soon as Hanare walks out, we're like, well, we know who's taking that fall.
Right, like I can go to the bathroom here.
Yeah, and sometimes I do.
Yeah, like oh, Hanare's out. Well, let me run and get something to eat real quick.
Yeah, and I think that's a fine criticism a lot of people have against when you watch New Japan for a while, you either accept that there's going to be a lot of multi-man tag matches and accept it for what it is, or you like hate it and you have a love-hate relationship with the product,
Right.
And you have to come to the realization like, hey, some of these guys, someone's got to take the fall, and we pretty much know who it is most of the time.
We know the pecking order.
Yeah.
How guys take the fall here.
But this was fine. You know what's funny? This show, and I think we haven't really discussed this yet. This was a really good show, top to bottom.
Yeah.
But I remember like till we got to the latter half, I don't know if you remember me saying this the whole time. I was like, I think I like the Young Lions match the best.
Yeah, you were big on the Young Lions.
It's weird
throughout the whole show. Yeah.
Well, because it was different. It's different from what we usually get. There was nothing wrong with this show. I thought this was an easy watch and it had a good flow. It wasn't by any. Well, it's weird because I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, it wasn't a show of the year candidate. Right. Because, and we'll get to it, there was nothing that was really blow away, but there was nothing that was bad on this. Right. And it's kind of like one of those things is like, NXT takeovers, they usually do have some blow away stuff, but even the ones that are lower, they're always good. There's nothing bad.
Right. So this was a good show. I mean, top to bottom.
But I don't know. I mean, like, I've seen people be really high in this show, like this was a show of the year type of deal because the flow was so good, it was easy to watch.
I mean, I think by when December rolls around, I don't think this show will be a candidate on our award show.
I don't think there's been too many shows this year. The only one that sticks out in my mind that maybe is a candidate, right aside from Wrestle Kingdom, is maybe the last night of
New Beginning in Osaka with Okada versus Sonata.
Yeah, and there were some problems with that show, but the last two matches of the night were pretty high. So I mean,
right, and I mean we got Best of the Super Juniors coming up. We got Strong Style Evolved,
Destruction,
Sakura, Dominion, and then of course G1. I mean,
King of Pro Wrestling. So it's a long year still.
Yeah,
plus the freaking not G1 special, Strong Style Evolved.
Yeah, I mean we're in the first quarter of the year right now.
But I will say this: we have not had a single show that I've watched, including Road 2 shows, that I thought was bad.
Right, they've all been good.
I thought was the worst show was maybe, and I don't even know if we'd count this. I guess we would with the way our voting cycle will go. Is like I feel like maybe the worst show to watch that felt laborious was maybe like the tag finals.
Right.
And even that had some good stuff on it, but it kind of I mean, it really felt like a Road 2 show. Like, it kind of under-delivered.
Yeah, that whole World Tag League, some of those matches.
Oh, well, there were some bad World Tag League nights. Some real bad nights, yeah. Especially in the A block.
But, I mean, after you pass that, I mean...
But I'm counting, like, just this year.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Since January, since Tokyo Dome, nothing's been bad.
Right.
Like, I haven't watched a single bad New Japan card.
I mean, even, like, the Fantastica Mania shows...
Fantastica Mania was great.
That some people were hating on. I mean, those are great, too.
Yeah, so this has been a really solid, very, very strong year for them. So let's get into the third match.
Right. So it's,
all right, let's flame the crap out of it.
So this is.
Oh yeah, I forgot that this happened.
So this is a triple threat match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship Tag Championships. El Desperado, Kamaru, taking on the champions Roppongi 30K and the LIJ team of Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi.
Okay. So with that being said, what was this?
Right. Honestly, watching this card, I forgot that this junior tag title match was happening. So when they came out, at first I thought it was like a non-title match, and then they were like, "Oh, this is a title match." I totally forgot.
Well, my problem with this was that, Sho and Yo lost to Kanemaru and Desperado
In a non-title match.
Why was Takahashi and Bushi in this match?
If I remember correctly, I believe Kevin Kelly said that Takahashi and Bushi, they either beat Roppongi 3K or they beat Desperado and Kanemaru on a non-televised Road 2 show.
Okay, so they did it either a long time ago when kind of like the time has passed to award a title shot, or they did it off the air and we missed it. So there's like so it's like a weaker build. Here's my problem with that. You guys did an angle on the last show, the last Road 2 shows that was pretty big, and you built up the idea that there's going to be a title defense based on the cheating ways of Suzuki-gun and the work they did on Yo's back. Okay, great. Now they're getting a title shot. Perfect. I'm fine with that. Set it up that way. Why are Takahashi and Bushi in this? This match really didn't need it. And then here's the other thing. Spoiler alert. Roppongi 3K lost the belts to freaking Suzuki-gun. So if you're going to do a title change, why are these other guys in this match?
I think the issue is one of those things where you have Takahashi and Bushi on the tour. You need to get them booked. Like, where else do you put them?
You can't do a multi-man match?
I guess you could, but I mean, I guess they felt that maybe it would end up being a better matchup if they put Takahashi and Bushi in here.
They could have easily paired those two guys up with Sonata and had Yoshihashi pair up with some random Chaos dudes or something like that.
And do a six-man.
It's not like there wasn't another spot on the card for them or something like that. Or, you know what? Hey, we don't got anything for you tonight, guys. Like, they do that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to be on the show.
Hit the catering.
Yeah, hit catering.
But yeah, especially, Roppongi 3K, so they just got the belts back pretty much, and now they lost them again.
And this has been a problem with this division for years now, is the way they hotshot these belts. My problem with it is, like, you came in, you hyped these guys up with a tournament win, you hyped them up with a title win, all that. You had them drop the titles to the
Young Bucks.
I didn't think they should even drop the title at Wrestle Kingdom, if you remember. I thought it was too soon, but then they did because they were like, well, where do we go from here if they're going to feud? Okay, that makes sense. But then they win the belts back a month later. Okay, well... And now the Bucks are gone, so that whole entire feud is
right. I mean, the Bucks are heavyweight now, so they can't even run that back.
And then a month later, you have them drop them in their first title defense. I mean, that kind of like defeats the whole purpose of setting these guys up to like be top stars in this division.
Right, and I think one thing we used as an excuse for them losing was like taking out Rocky Romero, and Rocky he was or at ringside.
Well, that was a story they told before, but in this match, they did a screw job finish again.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what happened, but...
it was Bushi spitting the mist. He spit the black mist.
Yeah, he misted show.
Yeah, and then Kanemaru spit the whiskey in Bushi and rolled him up.
No, Desperado
rolled up.
Cradled show for the win and the titles.
After Kanemaru spit the whiskey in there.
So in a way, you can say, oh, well, they won the belts, but it was underhandedly, and this other team, the odds were stacked against Roppongi 3K.
Right.
Fine. Okay, well, what about when they lost in the one-on-one match, or, you know, the
non-title match?
The non-title match, the same thing kind of happened. You didn't have to, you literally did not need this other team to be in there. I think it devalues the win. It didn't really serve anybody really a purpose. And the other thing, too, is like, Hiromu and Bushi, if you want to get them in this division, heat them up. Put them in a tag team match against some other random junior team. They could have, you know what else they could have done? They could have just had those guys go out there and beat some young lions.
Right, yeah.
Or something. I mean, they've been doing that on the freaking New Japan Cup tour. So, I mean, I don't understand. I don't think this was a good booking decision. And I was legit pissed when they lost the titles.
I know, yeah. You were hot.
It's not that I don't have a problem with Suzuki-gun winning the belts or anything, and I'm not like a super mark for Roppongi 3K. It's just, you know, they did a lot to establish this division, and it's like they're undoing the good work that they did the last couple years.
Yeah, and I mean,
and we're going back to a time when like this division didn't matter, and it's starting to get that way. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's that bad already, but you keep doing this.
Hot shotting belts it's not good for any division. And for building anything. And that kind of goes back to like the singles junior title. And one of the reasons I was happy that Ospreay won was I was tired of that belt. Sometimes goes in a pattern where it flips flops.
I just like Ospreay not being a winner. I like him being a loser. Like I just see him as like that babyface underdog. Like I suck. Can't get over. I can only get this much done. I like that part. But I will say this though. Okay, taking aside the screwy finish, taking away the bad booking decision, this was actually a good match.
Yeah, it's a solid match. And I think that's part of the reason why they put Hiromu and Bushi in here. They felt like they could get a better match.
No, not a better match.
Or three-way.
I don't think a three-way is a better match.
Would you say this match was better than the non-title match?
No.
Do you think the non-title match was better?
Action-wise, it might have ended up being better. Story-wise, no, not at all. I mean, they're probably equal. This one might even be a little bit less. If you didn't have all that crazy stuff, like, because the work was good and the match was good and it had a creative ending, but I actually thought having that many guys in the match kind of like gummed up the works a little bit and kind of made it hard for the guys to get a flow and a rhythm. So from that respect, no, I don't think Hiromu and Bushi added too much to the match except for just the finish and just having more characters in the ring. But
well, I think part of the problem is like right now there's not really much of a junior tag division. There's not many teams there, and so in order for like Roppongi 3K to really do stuff, to start rivalries, they kind of have to lose and then come back so they can like extend some of these rivalries out with some of these junior teams.
But they did it so beautifully. You have them lose by a screw job finish in the freaking in the non-title match. Mm-hmm. Then you have them come back. If they're gonna lose again, they did it all through the 80s. You got count-out finishes. You got DQ finishes. I'm not saying they should do that, but I'm saying if you want to have them lose, there's ways to protect them. And then you have them do the third match. And either they lose the titles for real or they become triumphant and they don't have to switch the titles.
What are the title change rules in New Japan? Do titles change hand on count-outs and DQs?
I don't really know. I've wondered that myself. I'm sure we could probably find an answer to that. Obviously, we like this product, but we don't have all the answers on it. I will say this: they don't really do those finishes very often in those matches. I think for that reason, but at the same, I think on a DQ, no, they're you know what I'm saying. Like they could have the other team get DQ'd and then they don't win the titles. So there's lots of ways you can do it. And then in the third match, if you want to have them drop the titles, hey, do it. But if you want to have them retain, now they've retained without having to like
lose the title. Yeah.
And in the meantime, you could have this other tag team beating guys. I mean, we saw them beat a tag team during the freaking Festival of Honor.
Oh, the Honor Rising.
Or yeah, Honor Rising. Yeah. So I mean, there's ways to book this. I just didn't think this was the right way to go. I would have given this I would have given this probably a little bit higher rating, but I was probably like three stars overall for this.
Yeah. So up next we had Sonata taking on Yoshihashi, and kind of a spillover of the LIJ Chaos feud that's been going on all this year. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this match was just kind of okay.
The Sonata Yoshihashi match was good. Don't you remember?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just maybe Yoshihashi.
Yeah, but don't you remember, like, we were both, like, down on it, and it ended up being, like, good?
Yeah, I think it started off being... I'm thinking about the beginning part of the match. It was kind of slow.
Yeah, because this and the Naito Taichi match, we were both, like, not expecting much, and they were both really good.
Right.
I thought that this was actually not a terrible booking decision at all. To have Sonata go against Yoshihashi, because Sonata just came off that title loss, but he looked strong in defeat, and you want him to rebound. He's getting ready to go into the New Japan Cup. You need to kind of like heat him up, put him in there with Yoshihashi.
Right. And I mean, Yoshihashi's one of those guys, even though he's, extra regular, I mean, he is pretty solid in the ring, and when he gets into these big single matches, he tends to kind of perform at a higher level.
Yoshihashi is a guy where, listeners, you might disagree with me, but I feel like I can actually disconnect my hatred for him and his character and actually take the mechanics of his matches. And if it's a good match, I'll say, like, hey, he wasn't a good match. I can kind of do the same thing with, like, Roman Reigns, who I think sucks. He's terrible. I actually literally think that. Most people are usually like, well, I'm not a Roman fan, but he's pretty good. No, he's actually not very good in the ring at all. I think Yoshihashi is a way better wrestler than Roman Reigns.
Oh, wow. Hot take here.
Way better. Like, he can go in the ring. I just think he sucks. He's ultra regular. Yeah. But this match was good, and I thought that, like, Sonata matches are kind of different than some of the other main event guys. Like when you watch Tanahashi and Okada and like Omega and even Naito, right now the style match where they build and then like the
finishing sequences
are crazy. Yeah. And Sonata doesn't do that. Sonata, like, he's like Muda. He builds to like one or two like finishing moves to end the match, and you're kind of anticipating.
That was his trainer, and that's a guy that he emulates a lot in his in-ring style. So it doesn't surprise me that he does that.
He's kind of a throwback to like the '90s New Japan style, like the Chono and like the freaking Hashimoto style. That is what he builds to, and he'll throw in a couple like big exciting moves, but it is slower, it is plotting. It's kind of more like a Triple H match, in that sense, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. But I thought that this match was way better than it had any right to be.
Right. I mean, I think sometimes a lot of Yoshihashi matches are way better than they have the right to be.
And then sometimes you think Yoshihashi is going to deliver because he has before, and then he just sucks. And you're like, you freaking got me, Yoshihashi.
Yeah, like I remember last year, like in the G1, like Yoshihashi versus Nagata, that opening on night one was so solid, but then the rest of the G1, Yoshihashi was just kind of like, eh.
Him and Goto in the tag tournament this year were very good too.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some of the best matches of the tournament. So, but then, I don't know. I haven't really seen too much from him this year. I thought that the Naito match sucked. Personally.
At Osaka.
Even though he was trying his hardest.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think it was good. I thought it was off. A lot of people seem to like it, though. But this match was very good. I thought both guys worked really, really hard. There was a lot of near falls, frantic pace. I was very surprised. And up to this point, my favorite match of the night had been the Young Lions match. I like the Young Lions match better than the three-way tag.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of tells you something there. none of those juniors in the six-way or in the three-way tag are like any slouches.
Right.
But this match was good. I'm like at like 3.5, 3.25 on that one.
Yeah, I'm about the same range on that.
So, and eventually, Yoshihashi was looking for the karma. Sonata ended up countering into the skull end. He locked the body scissors. Hashi tried to fight out of it, so Sonata lets go, hits the moonsault, and that was all she wrote. 1, 2, 3. So Sonata kind of gets rebuilt. Hashi takes the fall. He's not hurt because he's Yoshihashi. He's literally right where he was, utility player, and we go from there. So Sonata rebounding from his loss, looking strong.
Right, and then up next, his LIJ stablemate and leader, Tetsuya Naito, took on Suzuki Gun member Tai-Chi. Tai-Chi just recently up on the heavyweight division. There seems a lot of people out there, they might not know why this Tai-Chi Naito rivalry is happening. We've covered it on past episodes about Taka Tai-Chi Mania and the match that Tai-Chi and Naito had there, and the post promo where Naito said that he feels like Tai-Chi should be in the heavyweight division and he sees a lot in him. So this was kind of like based going off of that rivalry. Then we saw Tai-Chi attack Naito. What show was that he attacked Naito at?
That was after...
Was that a Road 2 show?
New Beginning.
Yeah.
That was after the New Beginning in Osaka, after he beat Yoshihashi.
Gotcha, yeah. So, yeah, he attacked Naito to the back, and so now he's officially a heavyweight, and this is his first heavyweight match here against Naito. Yeah,
so plus, we got to see the post-match angle where, he cut the promo on him backstage and said, basically that, you embarrassed me in my ring, so I came out here to embarrass you, that sort of thing. So this was built really well, even if it takes a little bit more than just turning on, your standard show and just, watching see, some New Japan fans, they're not used to... I'm not going to say they're not used to outside angles, because obviously they probably watch wrestling and they see it everywhere else, but in New Japan it's usually just conferences and things like that, and post-match attacks. But sometimes you with especially modern New Japan, they do have angles that take place in other companies, whether it's an indie, whether it's in Rev Pro or CMLL,
Ring of Honor.
They're trying to kind of cross promote, and even with social media a little bit. So
right, you guys need to take advantage of the English YouTube channel. They post a lot of the post-match promos with the English subtitles, and they really help you get more of a backstory on what's going on with some of these matches and rivalries.
Yeah, so this was built very, very well, and I was actually looking forward to it. Plus, the Tokyo Sports interviews we talked about with
Tai-Chi, making putting the bill up to Naito. Yeah.
So anyways, they started the match out, and during the introductions, Tai-Chi comes out with the freaking mic stand and just
lip syncs.
No, he jump zoned.
Jump zone.
He jump zoned Naito right on the ramp.
Yeah.
And then he powerbombed Naito on the ramp.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, this is gonna be good.
And I gotta say, I like Tai-Chi way better as a heavyweight than I do as a junior. I feel like his style fits so much more as a heavyweight. I know you said in the past that he could turn it up and have awesome junior matches if he wants to.
Yeah, well, he's had some really good matches in Noah. Excuse me. In Noah, he had some really good matches, and then during the Best Super Juniors. So it's not that he's not a good worker. He just his gimmick is he's a heel and he chooses
but I feel
to have crappy matches.
But I feel with his current gimmick and the current pace that he wrestled, I think it fits it better in the heavyweight division.
Well, I think what plays into that, and you're not wrong, but I think what's playing into that, it's not that his style was tailor-made for heavyweight. I think it's that he's having to change his style because of the perception of juniors not being able to go against heavyweights. And so the things that he was doing as a junior, like his tricks and his crap that we hate, that basically would get him wins, and it's not going to work at heavyweight. And for most junior wrestlers, if you go up to heavyweight, you're gonna have to change your style to some degree, because the stuff that you do in the juniors won't work. It won't work in a kayfabe sense in New Japan. And we're starting to see the evolution of that, where he's having to work hard because there's a class difference between the wrestlers in the higher classes than his. And a lot of the crap that this was his first heavyweight match, and we saw it the whole night where he tried a lot of the crap that he used to do, and it was not working with Naito.
Yeah. Especially Naito. And when Naito's like prime LIJ, like he can cheat better than anybody else. Mm-hmm. So none of Tai Chi's tricks were working here.
But yeah, he tried to jump Naito from the beginning, and he was mocking Naito. He tried to get the count out win. He ripped Naito's shirt off and was, choking him out, raking the eyes. But every time he would try to do something, Naito would basically get his win back up, and he was kind of like 2 steps ahead Taichi pretty much the whole match.
Right. And of course, the best part of all Tai Chi matches, Miho Abe.
I was looking for some like match insights from like Jeremy here, and first thing he goes to, man, this dude, yo, you're wild, bro.
But yeah, I mean, this matchup, you can really tell it was a personal issue with these guys. The way they wrestle, very aggressive, very snug action for both guys.
Yeah, Naito seemed to turn up. He was hitting like reverse Ranas. Yeah. A lot of some of his big moves like Gloria. He was really working hard.
Yeah, the satellite DDT.
Yeah, man. So this was really good, and it kept getting better and better as the night went on. And I was like,
yeah, I really enjoyed. I did not expect this match to be as good as it was going to be.
I didn't think this or the Sonata and Yoshihashi match. And I thought, to me, they were about the same. I would maybe rank this a little tiny bit higher just in general, because I thought that the finale of the match was better. Plus, it kind of, in a way, I'm not saying it was a star-making performance, but it was a step in the right direction.
Right.
and the crowd was split on.
Right, and that's
Taichi.
Yeah, we've seen this for the last couple of shows now. Like, the crowd seems to be behind Taichi a lot.
Yeah, because they used to just chant Taichi, go home.
Yeah, go home Taichi, yeah. But now they're just chanting Taichi. And,
let's go Taichi, let's go Taichi, and let's go Taichi. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yo, I can't wait till when we watch New Japan Stars in North America. We're going to mark so hard like we're Japanese fans. I'm not going to stand up in my seat.
We're going to be quiet and respectful.
We're going to be quiet and respectful.
Clap at appropriate times.
I'm going to clap at appropriate times. I'm going to go, ooh. I'm going to call out their names in high-pitched voices. And when they do something awesome, I'm going to clap rhythmically and call out their name. And it's going to be super respectful, and I'm going to be super into it. I cannot wait. Oh my God. But yeah.
Interesting finish to this match. I believe, was there a ref bump?
So they worked into like a series of counters. Naito hit the German and the Gloria for near fall. Taichi countered Naito and hit him with a low blow, and then teased the Gato clutch. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I think we both thought he won.
Yeah. And then it got to the point where Taichi got the mic stand out.
Well, Taichi was looking for the super kick, and Naito countered and hit the rolling kick at that point, which I love.
Called the Liger kind of kick.
So then Taka distracted the referee, and
that's what it was. Taka, yeah, I forgot Taka was out there.
Yeah,
he distracted the ref, and then Taichi got the mic stand, but then Naito kicked him below the belt and took the mic stand and cracked that mic right over Taichi's head, sent that thing flying.
Well, he slammed the ref into Taka too first to kind of keep him distracted.
Yeah.
And then, he hit the pop-up low blow on Taichi, so Taichi was just ducking sitting water.
Right.
And he cracked that mic stand over his head.
Just obliterated that thing over his head.
And I thought the way that he broke it over his head, it was poetic and basically like, this is who you were. This is what used to get you over. This is what, won you matches. Not here.
Right, like not in the heavyweight division.
Not in the heavyweight division.
This is where the big boys play.
Yeah, and I thought this match was very, very good. He hit Destino, 1, 2, 3. Goodbye, Taichi. Good night. And goodbye. Bang.
Oh, man.
And you know what? I think universally this was a very well-received match. I've seen nothing but pretty much good.
Right. I think, everybody liked this match that I've seen, and I've been seeing like a kind of like a big uptaking for Taichi. There's a lot of Taichi fans out there.
We talked about that before this match even happened, that there's people that have been on the Taichi bandwagon, and I think it's a little overboard. It is a little overboard. I'm not quite there yet, but this was a step in the right direction where I was like, Taichi can really go.
Yeah, I think putting Taichi in the G1 this year it's going to be very helpful for him and really help push him to the next level.
Yeah, and it opens up a spot in Best of Super Juniors, which I'm all about because I was freaking pissed that he's been in it the last couple times.
Especially since he's probably been like 20 pounds over the weight limit.
There's no way. Yeah, man. Like, they're saying he's been a junior, but he's bigger than Suzuki.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not recent either. Like, it's been that way for a while.
Yeah, he's been jacked for a while.
So, very, very good match. I would give this match a high recommendation. I would say I'm still at only like 3.5 on it.
I don't know. I'm like at 4.
I'm not that high, but I thought it was good.
Yeah, it's really good. So, speaking of Suzuki, we had a IWGP Intercontinental Championship match. Minoru Suzuki defended his title against the number 1 contender, Togi Makabe. And this was a hard-hitting, this was like a Never style, strong style match.
This wasn't for the Never title?
No. You keep getting like the Never and IC titles confused now with Suzuki holding.
Suzuki, whatever title Suzuki holds is the Never title in my mind. Like, I don't know what the Never title is at this point, but the IC title is the Never.
It's a trinket.
It's a trinket
that Goto's holding on to right now.
This is the real Never title.
But man, these guys come out here as soon as the bell rings, just very stiff, hard strikes. And I mean, throughout this match, Makabe tried his best to like get, the advantage over Suzuki. But throughout the match, like, you can just see that Suzuki was too much for Makabe, and Suzuki was just like overwhelming him throughout the match.
Well, there's some interesting tidbits about this match. So Makabe hasn't had a singles title match in 2.5 years. So this was a big deal. Makabe is one of the most he has the most notoriety of anybody else on the roster because of his outside projects. He's very well known in Japan, so he's a very, very, very popular guy. Even though here in America we were like, Makabe, over there, like, Makabe's a star, man. Aside from that, this was also only the 6th time that these two guys ever had singles matches, and Minoru Suzuki's won 3 out of 5 of them at this point. So he's leading the series 3-2. And then the last thing is that this was during the 46th anniversary, and we saw the video promos leading up to the beginning of the night, which they did a really good video package kind of showing
the history
and the first match that ever happened in New Japan on that date between Karl Gotch and Antonio Inoki. So obviously, Minoru Suzuki's finisher is the Gotch pile driver. So that sort of thing's not lost on that New Japan audience. And kind of one of the big parts of the story was that, like, Suzuki really wanted to hit that Gotch pile driver and put this man away.
Right. Well, that's pretty much
the anniversary.
Yeah, especially the anniversary. But pretty much every Suzuki match, he wants to hit that Gotch. He can finish guys with the sleeper, but he just really loves hitting that Gotch pile driver. I was actually expecting him to continue to use like leg submissions.
He has been.
Right. I mean, he uses them, but I was actually expecting him to win this match with a leg submission to kind of keep up that story of like, maybe this is his new thing, like taking out people's knees and legs to kind of like throw more like salt in the wounds of Tana.
I think he did use knee like locks.
Yeah, he's a lot of knee leg submissions here
in this match. So I think that's how he kind of softened up Makabe. But you're absolutely right. It was a story where Makabe tried to stand right toe to toe with Suzuki. He got the early advantage, but as time wore on and as the match went on, and his age and time and the punishment of Suzuki, he couldn't stand toe to toe with this guy. And I don't know what it is about what Suzuki does. I don't know if maybe he's actually just hits harder or whatever, but his strikes, no matter who he's going against, they sound different, they look different, and they seem more effective.
Right.
And I don't think it's all just selling. Like, he looks like he's hitting guys way harder than everybody else is hitting him.
Yeah, like, I'm surprised he doesn't like knock people out with like his forearm shots.
My God, yeah. I mean, one of the only other guys I can think of in New Japan that I feel like hits guys as hard or harder is like maybe Michael Elgin.
Yeah.
And even then, like, I don't know, like, nobody seems to hit guys as hard as
maybe Ishii.
Ishii does.
What's those throat chops?
Those throat chops are nasty.
Yeah.
I feel like that and his headbutt are like his worst strikes. His forearms are great, but they don't they don't ring dudes bells the way that Suzuki hits guys, and it's like he's taking their soul out of them. Like,
right. I mean, there were several times in this match where Suzuki would hit Makabe and he would go down to a knee.
This was vicious. This was really, 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 really vicious match. I think we definitely have a candidate for Strong Style Match of the Year in this match.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think we were talking about doing like a Strong Style Wrestler of the Year.
We did
that last year, right?
The Carl Gotch Award.
That's right. Yeah. So Suzuki's
man, like he's leading the pack right now. If you're keeping track, 'cause I mean he's been on fire. This was another great outing from him, and Makabe came to work this night. I mean we got exactly what I was hoping we'd get out of Makabe.
Right, and I think sometimes we can forget how good Makabe is because he's usually in these multi-man matches, and lately he's been teaming up with like Toa Hanare.
Well, he's beat down too.
Right, I mean, he's older, and that's why they have him in these multi-man matches most of the time. Doesn't take many bumps. He usually doesn't take the fall. He's teaming with guys like Toa and Juice and David Finlay. So those guys take the fall. So it's usually pretty easy nights for him. But he really came and showed up tonight and showed like some signs of like the old Makabe.
Yeah, he hit him with the Spider German, and he tried to go for the knee drop.
The King Kong knee drop.
Yeah, and when he missed that was kind of his downfall.
Yeah, that was pretty much like game over right there.
That's when Suzuki started putting on the knee locks. By the point that he was able to escape, he was pretty much done for. They went into a striking exchange with massive palm strikes and slaps, but Suzuki was just killing the dude. And it got to the point where he put on the sleeper. Makabe started to fade. He went for the gotch. Makabe fought out of it. Makabe started laying chops, but Suzuki slapped him with a sequence that, my God.
Yeah, just destroyed that man.
And then he took out his knee, locked in the sleeper, put him in the gotch pile driver.
Gotch pile, dude. That gotch pile driver always gets a great reaction from the crowd. Like, even before he drills them, like, as soon as he gets them up, it kind of, like, stalls for a second. You just kind of hear the crowd go, and then, bow!
Yeah. And I thought the smart thing about this match is that Makabe's knees have been an issue for a while, but then the fact that his finisher is a King Kong knee drop. So with all the knee work that Suzuki did, it just told a great story, because that's obviously the guy's going to go for the knee drop.
Right, that's his like number one weapon.
That's what lost him the match.
Right.
So I mean, some Rich Latta out there. So it's like, I don't like body part matches. It's like, there's a way to do it, man, where the match can be good, and this was a very, very good match. I was kind of high on it. Like, I was higher than other people. I'm like 4.25.
Yeah.
I saw people a little lower, but I'm like 4.25.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah, it was a solid matchup.
It was violent.
Yeah.
If you like violence, you want to watch that match.
Yeah. Then next up, we had the main event, the Anniversary Day Special Singles match. The IWGP Heavyweight Champion Okada took on the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay. One of the interesting things here that we've talked about in the build-up to this match, two Chaos members going head-to-head. We've talked about it plenty of times about how Jay White has been planting the seeds of interfaction warfare. So it was very interesting, Okada Ospreay here. Okada was definitely a little bit more aggressive, more of like the heel Okada, and was a little bit more aggressive than usual. You would think facing his Chaos stablemate that he would just kind of be wrestling like at a normal level, but he seemed to be like almost wanting to prove a point.
Yeah. One of the things about this match, this is a very, very polarizing match, because I've seen the reviews all over the place, like literally. Like, it's one of the widest spectrums for a New Japan match I've seen in a long time. I mean, I've seen people on the very, very low end, like 2 and a couple stars, to like, I've seen people go 5 snowflakes on this thing, which I'm like, you think this is one of the greatest matches that ever happened in the entire history of the sport? It's a little over the top there, but what were your thoughts? Like, where were you on this?
So I rated it 4 stars. here's I think what the problem with this match was for some people, and probably how they received it. I think going into, you think Will Ospreay, and you think about Ospreay match, you expect him to be just flipping and flopping all over the place and doing all these crazy high spots, and we really didn't get that here in this match. And especially if you've watched like the match they had in Rev Pro, that match was better than this match, and Ospreay was that match was a little bit more 50-50 than this match.
The Rev Pro match? Yeah, absolutely.
This match here kind of fell under the New Japan rules where junior heavyweights cannot really handle heavyweights. And, the whole story here was, Okada he wanted to test himself against Ospreay, but Ospreay just really could never step up to the quote-unquote like heavyweight level and really like do much damage to Okada.
Yeah, so I was a little bit lower, but not much. I'm like 3 3/4 on this match. Very, very good match. And I thought it was a fitting main event for the anniversary show. With that being said, I really dug the opening chain sequence wrestling. I thought that the wrestling sequences that they did to open up for like the first 5 or even 6 minutes that went on told a really good story because they're stablemates. They're trying to actually work a wrestling style match. It wasn't too strike heavy or anything like that. And I thought it was really well done. And I dig that stuff. I like to see guys go and kind of put together classic traditional wrestling. I think where it started to kind of like devolve was when I don't know if you remember, but Okada started kicking him in the head.
Yeah,
doing the little like douchebag kicks to the head,
disrespectful kind of kicks to the head.
Yeah. Ospreay just fired up, man. He freaked out, but he never got on top. Right.
I think that was the problem with this match, was that it never looked like Ospreay had a chance to win. Like throughout the whole match, you're like, dude, Okada's like gonna wipe the floor with this kid.
Even like when he hit him at one point towards the end of the match, he hit him with the beheader.
Yeah.
And he was gonna go into the Oz Cutter, but up to that point he had never really put him in any peril or danger.
Right.
So I didn't feel like the match was about to end or anything like that.
Right, and I mean, pretty much every time he went for the Oz Cutter, Okada had a reversal for it. And there was one where like he went for the Oz Cutter, and Okada like drop kicked him like in the back of the head.
Yeah, and my idea of what the ideal Ospreay versus Okada match is: Okada throwing bombs the way he does, the big lariats, the big drop kicks, the big high flying spots, you know what I mean? And Ospreay doing the frenetic, wild, fast paced moves, coming off the top rope, doing all his athletic stuff. Not that he didn't do athletic stuff, but this...
Right, but I mean, we just saw him in Takahashi, and I think we're also selling the high of that match.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, you were hoping that you would see something similar here.
And I think there's a way you could tell the junior versus heavy story without having to sacrifice the fact that they're in classes or the believability. I think it could have been crafted differently to where, hey, this guy's speed is something that's different. It's a different look for Okada. He's not prepared for it, and it's giving him trouble. I think they did a better job telling that story last year with Tiger Mask W a bit than they did in this match with Will Ospreay, who's an actual character and not like an anime character.
Right.
With that being said, this is not a slight on the match. This was a very good main event.
Right. We're kind of picking apart what was wrong, but I mean, overall, it was still a solid matchup.
I know that these are two of the best workers in the entire world, and I just feel like they're capable of having a 5-star classic. In fact, I think I even said on the preview, like, hey, this could be a match of the year candidate.
Right.
And this was not that.
Right. And I mean, especially too, because we watched that Rev Pro match before.
I thought that was better than this. Some people had this higher. I mean, like we said, there's people that really, really, really like this, but I just wasn't that high on it.
Right.
Another thing too, though, a lot of people that were negative on it, there's people out there that just don't like Okada, and there's people that just don't like Ospreay. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm gonna like wager that a lot of there's probably like some cross intersection. Like fans that don't like Ospreay probably are the same fans that like don't like Okada. So when you get those two guys in a match together, that could be affecting some of the some of the consensus that hey, this wasn't a good match. And then I think there's other people that like just love both these guys and think they can do no wrong, and they look at this match and they're like, this was a 5-star classic. You know?
I don't think it was anywhere near 5 stars. Like I said, I was at 4 stars. Thought it was a very good match, but definitely expected more. But overall, 46th anniversary was a very solid show.
Yeah, Okada wound up getting hit with the 450, the imploding 450, kicked out. Ospreay followed up with strikes. Okada countered the Oz Cutter into a tombstone. The Rainmaker got countered into Ospreay hitting a sit-out powerbomb for another good near fall. So they did try to do a mini version of like the frenetic like.
Right, and didn't Ospreay hit a Spanish Fly at some point in this match too?
He did. That was cool.
Yeah.
Big German followed for 2. Okada hit the Rainmaker, hung on, hit another one. Ospreay countered the third, but it got countered into a spinning tombstone, and then the Rainmaker finished it. So Okada ended up looking pretty dominant like towards the end of it. He ended up, I don't know if you caught this, he caught after the match, he cut a promo where he told Gato that after all their years together, he was going to end their relationship.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's like here on the 46th anniversary, it's time for us to go our separate ways. And then Gato was like, oh, and he was like, I'm joking, you bastard.
Gato was like, where am I going to get my money from?
Yeah, so we didn't end up with like a post-match call-out or a furthered storyline. This match just was what it was. Essentially, that Okada was dominant. Very, very good show, top to bottom. I mean, you had 2, around 4-star main events. The two singles matches preceding it were both around like 3.5 or around, somewhere near that like border. So they're very good. And then you had strong tag openers with a good, with a really good show opener. I mean, very good show, top to bottom. Yeah. I mean, you really couldn't complain about this. And it was nice too, because I don't think that with it being the 46th anniversary, it's one of those shows that typically kind of gets overlooked and people don't, appreciate it the way that they get hyped for like a Sakura Genesis. But I think that the hype of the delivery of these top 2 matches probably started to get around, because I started seeing a lot more people like checking the show out afterwards, which is cool.
Yeah. So solid show. Now we're going to transition into some New Japan Cup talk. As you guys know, we have...
Man, what a week.
We have the prediction contest going. A lot of you guys sent us in your brackets. We're doing this kind of like a March Madness kind of style thing. And a lot of brackets were busted on night 1.
Yeah, a lot of brackets.
Yeah, I had somebody tweet me. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Give this guy a shout out. Tweeted me about their bracket. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Jimmy Spammer at J Spammer1 on Twitter tweeted me. He's like, "Well, bracket busted on night 1." Yeah. So New Japan Cup night 1. And we're pretty much just going to cover the tournament matches here, unless we find something interesting in the undercard matches to talk about.
I mean, there's been some, we can kind of cover it, but there have been some like recent developments. I guess we could just go into them. So like we're into the first 4 nights essentially, and one thing that you'll probably notice is that Hikuleo and Kitamura are both off of this tour. So Tangaloa has been teaming, and the reason why is because they're both injured. We'll get more into the injury report, but Tangaloa is kind of filling in for them on this tour, basically because they need a fall guy for these multi-man matches.
Right.
So that's kind of what's going on there. One other thing that's very interesting, we kind of mentioned it but haven't discussed it a lot, but it's been something as we watch the shows that's been intriguing to say the least, is every night for the multi-man matches they've had Kota Ibushi teaming up with the OG Bullet Club.
Right. I mean, Kota Ibushi's a guy that's never really been attached to a faction, and now we see he's back with Kenny, and obviously Kenny's still in the Bullet Club, and so now the OG Bullet Club guys who have kind of been, they seem to lean more on Kenny's side, and so they've kind of taken Ibushi in, it seems like.
I don't know, man. I put it this way, because we had Rich over here and James, we were watching the first night, and they're like, why are they teaming with him? And I was like, it's kind of like when your boy has a new girlfriend and she's not really part of like your crew, but you still gotta like include her and
right.
be cool with her, even though she's not like really a part of what you guys are doing. It's like, all right, well, we're gonna be supportive. That's what's going on with the OG Bullet Club and Kenny and Kota. They tried to too sweet him, and he didn't too sweet them. So I mean, that kind of shows.
Well, that man wasn't trying to get a cease and desist.
Yeah.
he was in the Cruiserweight Classic. He wants to keep that bridge open. He's not trying to, have the machine send him a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, and one other thing too that's just been going on along with these shows is it's kind of nice. You guys can check out the full results online, or if you're following, if you're watching the shows every night. But because you're getting a mix of different guys who are not feuding, but that have new, cut matches going against each other, you're seeing fresh tag matches along the way. And it's kind of cool because you're seeing interactions that might be paying off to feuds later on. So that's kind of why this series is really nice, because some guys will go far in the tournament and they might not win it, but it can set up potentially for matches down the road. And as guys progress and they get new tournament challengers, you see how the tag matches kind of build towards that. So there have been a lot of interesting tag matches along the way. But let's get into these this night one
the first round
matches.
Yeah, so kicked it off with a return match from last year. It's New Japan Cup. Juice Robinson taking on Yujiro Takahashi.
Takahashi had a new girl, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, she was looking nice, real nice.
She was looking right.
But yeah, so like I said, it's called back from the 2017 New Japan Cup opener. Juice Robinson, Takahashi. This match was a very good match. These guys came out here to perform. This match was a lot more hard-hitting than I expected it to be. I mean, Takahashi's one of these guys that's usually in, multi-man matches, and he really doesn't do a whole much in the multi-man matches. He's usually cheating and doing a lot of stuff with the biting and stuff like that of the hands. So it was just kind of refreshing to see him really turn it up here. And we've always talked about how Juice is continuing to improve, and he was at peak form here.
Well, Juice started to take his first steps towards single stardom last year at the New Year's Dash. The night after Wrestle Kingdom 11, when I can't remember if he pinned Goto or what exactly happened, but remember it propelled him into a never feud with him, and he ended up losing that initial title shot. But where he really after that started to break out was his initial run in the New Japan Cup last year, and it kind of started off with his biggest singles win to date, which was against Yujiro. Right. So that kind of made him a star. So that kind of plays into here where we're a year later, and I mean, Juice is definitely higher up in the card in New Japan.
Right, he's over. I mean, big crowd reactions here, better matches.
He's had more titles pushes than Yujiro has in years. So I mean, that's
right. And I think they've done a really good job of also he's kind of looks like a pretty boy with all the multicolor and the fuzzies and the Care Bear stuff, but. Well, he gets in there, he takes some punishment, and comes back, and in this match there was a point where his back got slashed open, I believe, on the plastic chairs.
I thought it was on the metal barricade.
It might have been that,
It seemed like to me, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not 100%
that was bleeding pretty bad.
Yeah, his back was bleeding pretty bad, so I mean, it was pretty cool. He's kind of the babyface in peril in this match.
I felt like Yujiro last year in their match did the favor to really establish Juice as a star. But in this match, because Juice was already the star, it seemed to me like Yujiro put his working boots on to push himself, to get himself over, because he looked really good in defeat. And I mean, he came to perform, and he didn't just do the typical five moves that you see Yujiro do. And I love this about Don Callis and Kevin Kelly. Mm-hmm. they'll actually try to work that into their story. They're like, well, you see him do the same 5 moves, but it's because they're effective and he knows they work. Why deviate from a plan that works, Kevin?
Right.
But not on this night, man. He really came to perform, and I mean, he had his working boots on, and like he was pulling out moves we haven't seen in a long time from Yujiro. This is a really, really, really good match.
Yeah, I mean, I highly recommend, watching this match from night 1.
Yeah, he dropped power bombs on him. They were doing all kinds of counters. Great near falls.
Yeah, Juice had some great facial reactions, great selling.
Yeah, and Yujiro's trying to set up the DDT the whole night, basically.
He did at one point. He did like a top rope fisherman buster.
That was awesome. Yeah, I was like, that's when I was like, well, this match is good.
Yeah,
I popped for that.
Yeah, personally, I think Yujiro should use like the fisherman buster over the DDT for his finish.
I like that move.
The fisherman buster.
Yeah. But Juice ended up getting a powerbomb at the end for a great near fall, hit the pulp friction, and put Yujiro away once again for the 2nd year in a row. So you guys might, if you want to create some drama, let's run it back 3 years in a row. 1, 2, 3. Juice versus Yujiro.
2019.
The Spring Classic.
And I believe we mentioned last week, majority of you guys that sent your brackets in, we all had Juice going over.
I don't have the percentages anymore. I think I threw it away, or I've got it in my room somewhere, but I think it was 100%.
Yeah, everybody had Juice going over.
But this was one that we were talking about could have been an upset because Yujiro had already lost the year before. Plus, the New Japan Cup, you just never know. But I think this kind of shows us what kind of faith New Japan has in Yujiro, because they're letting him go in Juice, because they're letting him go on a little fun run. They let him get some new gear, and he's going to the to the quarterfinals.
Right. Then the next tournament matchup of the night, Big Michael Elgin taking on Tomohiro Ishii. And man, this was a classic. Oh my gosh. This was a war. Awesome.
Yeah, this was really, 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 really good. And I'm going to say it right now. This was a candidate for not only match of the month,
but match of the year.
This is a match of the year contender, guys. We got our 2nd match of the year contender this year already.
These guys, they came out here and were hitting each other, kicked the match off, just smashing each other back and forth. Ishii, he's not obviously as muscular as Big Mike, but you can't tell the way he was like no-selling some of those strikes and like just like bowing up to like Michael Elgin.
They have like the perfect mix of not only violent strikes, but also power, like death-defying power moves that when watching these two guys throw each other around is always just, it's magnificent. And then the timing of the near falls, and they slow it down and then they speed it up, and then it's right in your face. This is one of my favorite Haas match pairings that you can possibly do in New Japan. Like I'd be happy to watch these guys fight multiple times a year, every year, but I mean, I don't know if their bodies can handle it with how violent these matches are.
I don't know how Ishii was walking the next day after this match. I mean, Elgin hit a lot of power moves. There's like the gorilla press slams, and then probably the most dangerous move of the match was Elgin had Ishii up on the middle rope, and he hit a jumping splash mountain bomb, and like Ishii landed right on his head.
Guys, when I tell you, when Jeremy says he landed on his head, I mean he landed on his head, like straight 90s All Japan style,
right? And
like Mizawa, Kobashi, like Kawada style. Like it was very scary.
And like you mentioned, we had Rich and James over here from One Nation Radio. We were all watching night 1, and when that move happened, all 4 of us was like, holy crap, like, oh my god, like Ishii's dead.
Yeah. Luckily he seemed to be fine, and he's been working the rest of the tour. So.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they even like had a check on him as soon as that spot.
Right, as soon as he hit that spot, like you could see like Elgin was like checking on him.
But dude, Elgin got dropped too. He did a freaking brainbuster right off the top rope. He did a better job protecting Elgin. But I thought when he hit him with the brainbuster off the top rope, I was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And somehow freaking Elgin kicked out of it. The near falls were spectacular in this match.
Yeah.
The striking, especially Elgin's freaking forearms, they were, bro, so stiff. I was like, how is he not knocking this dude out? I don't know how that's one of the things about wrestling. Like, I don't understand the magic of how these guys hit each other so hard every single night, and they're fine to keep going. I mean, it helps me to just suspend my disbelief, but it was freaking awesome. I'm so high in this match. This definitely outdid their G1 Classic.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so much great stuff we can say about this match.
Yeah, but it ended up... and you know what's one of the funny things here was like, okay, so I've been reading the spoilers of these matches just in case, because, you know, our lives are busy, and I'm like, well, hopefully we get to see everything, but if we miss something, you know, we'll kind of go from there. But I've been going into these matches knowing what happens, and I still was popping for Ishii to win. I mean, that's how I know it was a classic match, because every time Ishii would get hit with something and he was kicking out towards the end, I was like, let's go, Ishii! All right, come on! And everybody in the room, dude, we were all popping out.
Right, and like everybody else, like I have not read any sport. Like most of these matches, I went in not knowing who the winner was, so I was legit thinking like, oh, come on, Ishii, you got this. But in the end, big bracket buster Mike,
the bracket buster,
Big Mike, got the win here. How did he finish him? Was it the Elgin bomb or was it a burning hammer?
So Elgin countered the brainbuster, and I mean this was after like, yeah. How about this? Elgin hit the buckle bomb on Ishii. Okay, yeah. So Elgin hits him with the splash mountain off the top, goes for the 1-2, loses it, immediately hits freaking Ishii with a buckle bomb.
Right.
And then he goes for an Elgin bomb, and Ishii goes into a Hurricane Rana.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Like, when do you see Ishii doing Hurricane Ranas?
So he counters a lariat with the headbutt. Ishii does. Hits the sliding lariat for 2. Elgin counters the brain buster and hits a suplex and a half and half suplex. Elgin loses Ishii for a second and then hits the buckle bomb. Ishii rebounds with the lariat. Freaking, this is one of my favorite like finishing sequences ever. Elgin cuts off the lariat with a pop-up powerbomb and follows with the burning hammer for the win.
That's right, the burning hammer.
Now I will say this: I wish he didn't do the burning hammer in Japan.
Probably.
That's my one of my big problems with Michael Elgin, aside from personal things. Like, he doesn't do it the right way. I don't know if anyone should be doing that move the right way, but if you're gonna do it, it's literally one of the most revered and protected moves in Japan. You know, because obviously that's Kenta Kobashi's move,
right?
And he doesn't do it all the time, but he throws it around nilly willy. And I mean, it's the super finisher to end all super finishers, and Elgin has appropriated it for himself. Like, you're Michael Elgin, bro. Like, you're not Kenta Kobashi. Calm down, stop. But hey, if you're gonna use a move after that 30-minute war to put down Ishii after everything else that they did, like, oh, I'm breaking this chair. Like, this is an ECW match right here. But I mean, that's the move to do it. So this was just a phenomenal main event.
Yeah.
Where are you on this one?
5 stars.
God dang, pal. I think I'm 5 stars too.
Yeah,
I haven't rewatched it. I'm like almost ready to rewatch it now to see how I feel on the post watch. I haven't seen anybody go 5 snowflakes on this thing though. Every reviewer I'm seeing is like 4.5.
4.75.
4.75. Yeah, I've seen people be like 4.25.
Right. I'm really curious to see what Meltzer's gonna give this.
I'm thinking the same thing too, because I feel like, because we watched it and you, me, James, and Rich, which like James and Rich have different wrestling tastes than we do. I mean, we're all friends, but we don't always all agree and be like, wow, that's one of the best matches we ever saw. But we were popping so hard, we were like, that might be 5 stars. Like,
yeah, that was.
I felt like this, and people might hate me, but like I felt better watching this than I did watching Gargano and Almas.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Dude,
that one I was like questionable on, and this one I'm like,
Dude, yeah, at the end of this, I had no doubt in my mind. I was like, dude, I just watched a 5-star match.
I'm very shocked that anyone has it less than 5 stars. I don't know if maybe because it's a tournament match or if it's just because it's Elgin and Ishii or like that's just the popular thing to do nowadays. Like, just underrate things. But like, for me, this was a 5-star match, and I feel like I'm not overselling how good this match was.
Right, and I think too, like something that adds to it, like not many people had Elgin winning this.
Oh my God!
So many people had Ishii as the winner of their bracket. And this win here busted a lot of you guys' brackets that picked Ishii to win.
Yeah, I think we talked about something like 35 or 40% of our
I said like 50%.
No, not that high, but like 35 or 40% of the brackets had Ishii winning.
Yeah.
He was the most popular winner that we had going. So with that being said, like this was not necessarily an upset because we've already talked about Ishii hasn't been getting pushed for a while.
Right.
But they put the brakes on Elgin for a long time.
Right, because I
He hasn't done anything since G1. I mean, he was in the tag tournament, and that's like the most success he's had. And even before then, like
after G1, he was in the US tournament.
No, that was before.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking, yeah, that's right.
And he lost to Omega. He did the clean job.
Right.
He didn't go very far in the G1. I mean, he was impressive, like he always is.
Right.
In ring last year, he was super impressive.
He had like 8 points in G1 or something like that.
I don't remember, but he was super impressive last year. I mean, he had 5-star matches, but remember, we didn't even consider him for Wrestler of the Year because he wasn't winning.
Right.
And man, this was a big win, real big win, because he busted like everybody's bracket, that even people that didn't have Ishii going to the finals, like I would say almost the majority of our brackets all had Ishii winning this. I think it was something like 90 or 95% of the brackets had Ishii winning, right?
Right.
So I mean, that was a for our listeners and for the American like fans over here and whoever international fans that participated in our like little contest. Yeah, we all kind of got our brackets busted the first night.
Yeah, man, that was rough, man.
And not only that, but like it was rough for me just because I'm such a freaking Ishii mark, and I like Elgin. I enjoy his work. I like these two guys, but could Elgin like be a guy that goes far in this tournament? Absolutely. I don't see him winning it.
And there were either one or a couple people that sent them brackets that had Michael Elgin like winning it all.
We were laughing.
I was like, oh, what, dude?
We were laughing.
I was like,
we're like, you fools.
You're all like, there's no way Elgin.
You fools.
Like Elgin's not gonna make it out the first round. Now we look like the fools, like the J Brones. I mean, Elgin seriously could win this whole thing.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but like at this point,
there's just one simple reason why I don't think so, and it's very, very simple. I just don't think that they'll sell out Sakura Genesis
with Elgin versus Okada.
And that's from a business standpoint. He
doesn't have to challenge Okada though. He could challenge Suzuki or Goto.
He could, and I mean, you're not wrong there, Jeremy. But at the same time, I think the whole point of the New Japan Cup ultimately is to develop a challenger for Okada, unless they're gonna do some shenanigans on the undercard and go a different way. But I do think that whoever's winning this is challenging Okada, and I just don't see them selling out Osaka Joe Hall with Elgin and Okada at this point. But I will say this was the reemergence of Big Mike.
Yeah, Big Mike.
They did more for his character in this one night than they have. I mean, the last time I was this high on Michael Elgin was like after his first G1 run, because that's when we were like, wow, this guy is tailor-made for Japan. And he was coming off of a lackluster ROH like run. Like he had that great ROH run, he lost the title, and it was like everything went off the rails. We didn't know where he's going. He came to Japan, and it was like, wow, he's this monster gaijin. And then he had the IC run, and it was great. And then after he lost the IC title and broke his face, he's never been the same.
Yeah.
And this is like, wow. He's serious again.
Yeah, this is like the resurrection.
You were mad at me, though, because I was like, there's no way Elgin's going to be...
Yeah, because like in my head, when I was thinking about my bracket, I was like, well, I just signed this man to a 2-year contract. Like, if you're going to re-sign somebody for 2 years, maybe you'd actually do something with him. But you kept like putting in my head, you were like, they're not doing nothing with Elgin. They're not going to do anything with Elgin.
They just hadn't been. I just figured it's Ishii. They're going to run him longer in the tournament.
Yeah.
Tease the whole feud, with
the chaos.
Plus, I mean, sure, the Observer reported that he re-signed, but we don't have like official word out there like, hey, this guy's definitely signed with New Japan. I mean, you just never know.
Right.
And I was like,
I trust Uncle Dave.
I mean, he's usually right, but at the same time, like, a lot of these guys work with no contracts over there. So even though they're like signed, a lot of the gaijin are not actually signed to anything. I mean, Kenny is. I think Kenny is like one of the only gaijin that's actually fully signed.
Well, he lives in Japan.
Yeah. So I mean, with that being said, though, this broke brackets. I love this match. If you haven't watched this match yet, you need to go watch Ishii and Elgin and...
Right. After you finish this podcast, go watch that match.
Yeah, hit us up. Tell us what you thought. We want to dialogue with you. This match was awesome. I saw someone on Reddit be like, saying that they think Ishii's head is made out of cement.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, out of
rubber. Yeah. All right. So, the next night, the first tournament match, we had Bad Luck Fale. We had Bad Luck Fale taking on Lance Archer. And this was probably one of the weakest matches of the tournament so far
that we've seen. We actually, as of the recording of this show, we haven't seen night 4 yet because it was just last evening. And instead of sitting back and watching New Japan Pro Wrestling and enjoying our evening, we're giving this glorious podcast to you listeners. But this was definitely, it's what I expected from Suzuki, or from Fale and Archer. I didn't think we were getting a Matt Classic here.
Oh, not at all. I mean, they try to use a lot of smoke and mirrors to make this match good. I mean, a lot of brawling on the outside. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's Bad Luck Fale and Lance Archer.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of like you said, a lot of brawling on the outside. I'll be honest with you, I was like kind of... One reason I could tell this match wasn't good because they lost me like for a good portion of the match. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't like, oh my god, this is the most god awful match I've ever seen. It was a hoss fight. There was brawling. Although I will say I'm getting kind of sick of some of the Suzuki-gun brawling.
Right.
Because it's not like, I don't know, man. Like I'm an Attitude Era guy. I like when the brawls are like super violent and go all over the place. And with them, it's like they go into one little area, someone's on the ground, they get hit with like a couple chairs or thrown into some chairs and get a guardrail thrown on them, and then they just go back in the ring. And I'm like, what was the point of that?
Right. And it's like every single match.
It's like a really exciting rest hold, basically.
Right.
It's just like a rest hold, essentially.
Yeah. Archer, he did the old school here, the Undertaker spot.
Yeah. He tried, I forget what his move is, but the one where he puts him in the corner and lifts him up in the air, like it's a reverse Razor's Edge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he actually got
Fale up for a little bit, yeah.
I was like, dude, this dude Archer is strong as heck, man. But, eventually, Fale ended up cutting him off. That's what it's called, the blackout. So Archer looked for the blackout, Fale escaped. Archer hit a choke slam, got 2. Fale battled back, took Archer down, hit the splash for 2. Archer went for another choke slam, but Fale hit him with the grenade for the 1, 2, 3. So short match, it's like 10, 11 minutes, nothing crazy.
But I gotta say about the grenade real quick. I think the grenade's like one of the most protected finishes going right now in New Japan.
I mean, yeah, who gets up from the grenade? Like, nobody, pretty much.
Right.
You get hit with that thing, you're done.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, very slow moving, so a lot of guys counter it, the top guys when it comes at them, so... But, I mean, I think almost everyone predicted pretty much that Fale was going on. We had a couple Archer detractors who thought that in our brackets they were going on, but, I mean, the majority of us, had Fale. I will say with my brackets... at least up to this point. I'm 2 for 1. I was off on the Ishii, but I've got juice, and I had Fale.
Yeah, same here.
So I think we're the same at this point.
Right. And then the next match was the return of the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking on Taichi's second big singles heavyweight match here.
Yeah, so someone out there said, like, Taichi must have done something right, because this dude went from obscure junior to all of a sudden he's in 2 big, like, singles matches against 2 of the big 4 guys in the whole company. I mean, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, he's doing something right. I mean, and he's got Miho Abe out there, so.
This match was good.
Yeah, and interesting. Speaking of Miho, at the beginning of the match, Miho was rubbing up on Tanahashi.
Yeah, she tried to pull some Taguchi action on it.
Right.
And then I forget what he did.
Like, he made her like stand in the corner with him.
Oh yeah, he brought her over to his corner and then like posed. Yeah, like she was with him.
And she was like, no.
Yeah, the ace is too smart to get caught by those foolish tricks of that despicable woman.
Yeah.
Not you though, bro. You'd be like,
dude, Miho Holly would have me in her trap, dude. I'd be mesmerized by her. Like, she'd rubbing up on me, and then Taichi would hit me in the back of the head with the mic stand, and then I'd be out, dude.
John Juris?
Yeah, John Juris would do the job to Taichi because of Miho Abe. Oh, man.
So let's talk about this match. I mean, what were your expectations? And I mean, Tanahashi coming back. Oh, one thing we didn't talk about either. So we watched the press conference with Tanahashi when they announced his comeback, and we didn't really cover it the other week, but we watched it, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
You done playing your phone?
Sorry,
man. This man Jeremy, he's still thinking about Miho Abe. He's mesmerized.
Yeah, I'm mesmerized over here.
No, but what did you think about the press conference with Hiroshi Tanahashi?
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was very entertaining. He's talking about how both of his biceps are torn until they're matched. And he was talking about how, like, he never used to work legs.
Yeah.
And so, like...
And he took the weight off.
Right, so, like, now he's, like, dedicated to, like, training his legs.
He's like, yeah, so essentially I've taken a few pounds off of my frame to alleviate the pressure. I've taken about 5 pounds of pressure off my knees, so I feel much better.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, this is fantastic.
And I think you mentioned, like, how cool would that have been if, like, Seth Rollins...
Yeah, guys get injured in other companies, and then they don't come back and, like, really address, like, the injury or whatever. They're just like with Seth Rollins, for instance, it was like, rebuilt, stronger, better. And, like, but, like, Tanahashi's like, yeah, I rehabbed, I took pressure off my knees. You're going to see a different, like, more fluid Tanahashi. He's like, he's like, for all these years, I never worked my legs. I've dedicated myself from February 1st going forward to work the legs and strengthen my leg. And I'm like, I don't know if that's going to help your, like, knees that have no cartilage in them at this point.
Right.
Going forward. I think it might be a little too late for you, bud, but it's an interesting way for him to, like, kind of tell that story. I thought that I'm still just so surprised that this guy's back so soon, but here he is, and he's in this main event with Taichi, and this was another really good performance for Taichi.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't expecting much from Taichi in the Naito match, and he kind of, exceeded my expectations. And so this match, I was expecting a little more from him, and he definitely delivered here in this match.
He hit Tanahashi with a Gonzo bomb.
Oh my god, yeah, dude, that Gonzo bomb was sick, dude. I thought he, like, killed Tana with that.
There's some people that think Taichi's going to be a star. I don't see him ever getting to that level. Like, I think there's some delusional fans out there, but I will say this. Him getting split reactions against the 2 most over guys in the company does tell you something.
I mean, I could see Taichi winning a singles title.
I can see him winning a singles title, but there's people that think he's going to be like
the next ace.
Yeah, like something absurd like that. Like they think he's going to be on, like, Naito level or something. You know what I mean? Like, and like Tokyo Sports MVP. Like, nah, bro, this dude's never gonna be there. But yeah, these two matches were both very, 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 very good. I mean, it's Tanahashi, obviously, and Tanahashi can get a great match out of most guys. I thought this was the best Tanahashi outing we've seen. Well, no, I'm sorry, I should take that back, because this wasn't better than the Suzuki match, but this was definitely better than the Jay White match.
Right, yeah, it was better than Jay White match, and there were just like a lot of believable near falls on both sides. You know, we mentioned in the Ospreay Okada match, you never really believed that Ospreay could beat Okada. There were times in this match where I believed that Taichi possibly could have beat Tanahashi.
Well, Taichi in the early goings of the match was using a lot of his like screw tactics, a lot of like roughhouse tactics, you know, going to the outside. He was attacking the knees of Tanahashi. But once Tanahashi towards like the second half started finding his rhythm and started working in his dragon screws and slowing down Taichi to his pace, that's when things like kind of started to catch up. But there was a point where, like, you're right, Taichi kind of like came back. He was cutting off the sling blade. He hit him with an awesome backdrop driver.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
And once his pants came off, the head kick, he hit freaking Tanahashi with a head kick that was like, holy crap. That Gonzo bomb, which like Jeremy didn't even know what a Gonzo bomb was.
I didn't. I just saw him like drop Tanahashi on his head, and I was like, what was that?
I was like, I called it like I was like a Puroresu. Like I was like, Gonzo bomb! I marked for that move, even though it's like so dangerous. And but Tanahashi kicked out, sling blades, high flying, you know, the high five flow, cross cover. He landed on his knees. He couldn't cover off of the high five flow. I thought that was really, really good. Taichi hit him with the low blow and went for that Gato clutch again.
Right, yep.
Which I think, and I said this during the match, I think if he does that move in that sequence, he's got to pin people with it. Because it's twice now where he's used it against top guys, and it's a great near fall. But I thought both times he beat both those guys with it, and they both kicked out. So now it's like got less legitimacy with me.
Right.
Even though it's like I don't really want to see Tanahashi or Naito job to a low blow and a roll up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's done so well that I'm like, both times I thought he won the match.
Yeah, maybe it's something too. Maybe going forward in the future, he can actually pick up some wins with that against lower card guys.
Yep. So Taichi hit Tanahashi with the sky high for a really, really close near fall. Tanahashi was looking out on his feet. It was appearing that many of our fans and listeners who were predicting a Taichi upset were like, it was looking like they were going to be right there. We were nervous.
Dude, that's why I said like there's so many believable near falls. There were so many points where I'm like, oh man.
We both got Tanahashi going all the way in our brackets.
Right, like my bracket would have been completely done, like turkey done.
Yeah.
If
I think we're both done already, but
right.
But we'd be done like
right.
we
like completely like I think there's like still some chance, like a small. I think you're a better bracket than me, but like
if Tanahashi goes to the finals and we both don't win, but like we predicted him accurately, at least there's some redeeming value. But if he loses on night one,
yeah, dude,
how stupid do we look?
Yeah, like pack it up, dude. We gotta shut this podcast down.
Like we both go all in on one dude, and we're supposed to be like, you know,
the ace of podcast.
The ace of podcast. We're predicting bumskis out here. Like no way. But yeah, Taichi got the mic stand, and he tried to hit Tanahashi with it. Tanahashi ended up getting it. The ref sees him, so he tossed it away. He hit him with the sling blade. Hit him with another one. Went up top, high five flow, connects, and Taichi was done, and we have the return of the ace.
Yeah.
Go ace! Yeah. So it was a really, really good main event. I was like 4 stars on it, man.
Yeah, I was 4 stars on it too.
I liked this better than the Naito match.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
What did I give the Naito match?
I was like 3.5, 3 3/4, something like that.
Yeah.
I was slightly higher on this one because I thought it was more athletic, like a more athletic story. Got a little bit more time. It was in the main event.
Right, and I don't know why.
The finishing sequence was probably better in the Naito match.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought this was a better match.
Right, like the Naito match, I really didn't feel like he had a chance against Naito, and for some reason in this match, I felt like he had a chance of beating Tana.
He did. He really did. And I don't know if Taichi has a chance of winning like Wrestler of the Month after suffering 2 big losses like that. But based on his performances,
he's a candidate.
He's a candidate, man. He's a candidate because he has stepped his game up, and this was an awesome match. So, we're 3 matches we're 2 nights in at this point. 3 matches. 3 of them are around 4 or better. Out of the 4, I mean, you can't really ask for much more from this tournament. So far. Also, one thing we didn't mention was we got to see a Ibushi freaking moonsault off the balcony.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he did it again on night 3 too.
This man's just flipping out here for putting his career in risk,
putting his life on the line twice. Like he did it twice on the tour
on these tournament shows.
Yeah, so that was cool. So we're at this point, I think we're both at the same point on the A side of the bracket. We're 3 for 4 basically on our predictions. So let's go into night 3, man.
Yeah, and speaking of Kota Ibushi, he took on Yoshihashi, and
well, actually, before we talk about that, there was a couple things I thought were interesting on this card.
Okay,
and worth mentioning. Let me see here. What was it? Shota Umino got a singles match against Desperado.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were both kind of surprised that Umino got a singles match, and that just goes to show you once again that he is like the young lion that they're pushing. He's the ace of the young lions right now.
It wasn't anything like blowaway. I mean, it wasn't even like a very good match, but it was solid.
They got some time.
They got 8 minutes.
It wasn't a squash match or anything.
No. Yeah, remember he put I don't know what Desperado's finisher is called, but he puts him in that Brock lock and then grabs the arms, and it's nasty looking.
Right.
And that's what he beat Umino with, but then he sold for Umino at the end of the match where he was laid out and he barely survived the match, essentially, is the story they told. And that's kind of telling that Umino's getting singles matches on these lower card shows now. That's
right.
I think it's the first time we've seen him on a undercard match singles where he wasn't wrestling another young boy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a big deal. So I thought that was definitely worth mentioning. But yeah, let's go into the Kota Ibushi match against Yoshihashi.
Right, so I think this match right here, another match where Yoshihashi came out swinging and really wanted to perform. He had his working boots on, but Kota Ibushi, man, this guy, he's so smooth, so quick, agile, athletic. I mean, there's so many positive adjectives you can use to describe Kota Ibushi's in-ring work.
There are times where Kota Ibushi has been right on the cusp of being top level star, and I mean I think he is to a degree a top level star. But but when you watch him in his single stuff, you're I don't know why he's not the ace.
Right.
I legit don't, because he is as good as anybody on the planet when it comes to pro wrestling, and it seems like he has the look, the charisma, the in-ring work, everything that New Japan values and stuff. I mean, he's a star, and I'm man, this guy should be the IWGP champion.
Yeah, he should be. And I mean, this match was pretty good, and
it was very good.
There's a part, they were brawling throughout the crowd.
Yep.
And we saw another Ibushi balcony moonsault.
And it was perfect too. When I watched him do it, the way he landed and fell, I was that didn't hurt him at all. He landed it perfectly. I mean, you only have so many of those in your career. I don't know why he's doing them every night on this tour, but it was awesome. I will say this though, I'm how do you even train for that? How do you even practice something like that to where you're comfortable doing it and not afraid you're gonna hurt yourself? I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of those things where, like, you just go for it, I guess.
Yeah. But Yoshihashi was great here. You don't hear that a lot. One thing we did talk about was, like, on his entrance, on his way out, we were talking about, like, we're like, whose music is this?
Yeah.
And we're like, it was Yoshihashi's, and we're like, have we heard this before? And I'm sure we've heard it, like, countless times, and it's just never clicked. And I was like, yo, his music's extra regular.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I mean, Yoshihashi here, he is extra regular as he is. We've mentioned this before. Like, his in-ring game, when he really is at it, it's really good.
And I still don't care. But, yeah, I mean,
they had pretty good chemistry here.
They did, yeah.
Yoshihashi, one thing I do hate about his in-ring work is that butterfly lock he uses.
I don't like the way he does it.
Yeah, I don't like the way he does it either.
He doesn't put enough pressure on the one arm. Right. So it's like there's no way it could be hurting anybody in any way. And there's other guys who've worked gimmick versions of that move, and it looks much better. Yeah. The way he does it, it's too loose. It sucks. I mean, you would know. You were an amateur wrestler.
Right. I mean, that butterfly, I have like the double hook.
You got to do the double hook. You got to.
And like wrench it. He doesn't really lock it in like that.
Yeah, it's not a believable finishing spot, even though guys sell it. Like Kota Ibushi did a fantastic job selling that spot. It looked like he was about to lose. But yeah, ultimately, after a really hard fought battle, really good, energetic, athletic match, Hashi was trying to hit the running knee. Oh, here's one thing about Yoshihashi that I do mark out for, and I want to get it on
the Western Lariat?
I don't know if he calls it the Western Lariat. I wouldn't even call it the Western Lariat because the way he does it better than Kojima ever did.
Well, that's what they call it on commentary.
Is that what they're calling it?
They call it the Western Lariat.
Dude, his Lariat is the best clothesline in pro wrestling right now. I sit there and I watch Yoshihashi matches and I don't care and I'm not invested and he's doing cool stuff and I'm just not popping for it. Doesn't matter what he does. All of a sudden he hits that freaking Lariat and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, where'd that come from? Right. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. He has an incredible Lariat.
Yeah,
so
that should be his finish.
It's so good, bro. Yeah. It's the best clothesline in pro wrestling. And that's not hyperbole, guys. If you're listening out there, you think I'm lying? Go look it up. Look it up on YouTube if you can find it. I don't know if anyone's out there making like
best of Yoshihashi, top 10 moves
top
of
10
Yoshihashi.
Move. I don't know if anyone is taking the time to do that, but if that exists and it's out there, that move's got to be on there because that move is incredible. And the way that it's so fluid and fast and hard hitting that like I'm like, this is the best clothesline in wrestling.
Yeah, and Yoshihashi, he's getting a ton of near falls. He was trying to land that the karma, but he couldn't get that. Eventually, Ibushi nails him with the Kamagoye.
Yep, he killed Yoshihashi with the lariat, and then he looked for the knee strike. It got countered. He hit him with the German. What's it called? Where their arms...
I think this is the arm trap German.
Well, no. Straight jacket.
Yeah,
straight jacket German.
Yeah.
He hits guys with the straight jacket German, holds onto the wrist control, and then brings him in for the Kamagoya, which I love that, that move. And he hit him hard. I think when we saw it, we were like, bitch. And really good match, but I don't think that the result was ever in doubt, unless when you're playing bracketology. I mean, I think you did have Kota Ibushi against Naito as part of your bracket, didn't you?
Yeah.
And see, for me, I never did because it's too big of a match to throw away at like Cork and Hall.
Right.
It just business sense. I mean, that match, we saw them last year in the G1 opener, but that's a big night of business for them. I was like, there's no way they're doing that night. What, like, so I was like, well, either Ibushi's losing or Naito's losing. And I think for guys that maybe had Naito going over, they probably figured maybe Yoshihashi would win. But that was like the one like little shred of like hope for Yoshihashi's because it's the New Japan Cup and the climate of the time and upsets happen. But this was not an upset. The favored wrestler won there. I think we both had Ibushi going on to the finals. Or not to the finals, but to the to the next round. And this brings us to our main event of the night. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tetsuya Naito.
Yeah, and so here was actually, not really a bracket buster for most people. Most people...
60% of our listeners
predicted that Zack Sabre Jr. was going to be Naito. And the more I watched this tournament, I felt like crap. I picked wrong. Saber's gonna win. Every night they had Taka Michinoku cutting the promos for him, talking about he's gonna tap everybody out. His submission skills are better than everybody else. Like,
we didn't talk about it, but the multi-man matches that they're running between LIJ and Suzuki-gun were really good.
Yeah.
And every time we saw the interactions between Zack Sabre Jr. and Naito, I was like, this match is gonna be good, man.
Yeah.
And we got main event Naito.
Right. We came out in the John Travolta, the white tux and the cape.
No t-shirt, no hoodie. He came out super tranquilo, and Zach came out, and Zach was looking pissed.
Yeah.
Came out with both his belts, collar flipped up. He'd be popping his collar, and but he looked like he was ready to kill someone.
Yeah. And so the more this match went on, I was just said to myself, crap, Saber's going to win. Saber is going to win. And I mean, we said this before. We talked about this match. Like, this was like an extended squash match almost.
Bro.
Saber was beating the crap out of Naito for the majority of this match.
Bro, he kicked Naito's ass, bro.
Yeah.
He beat him up for real. Like, I was like,
For real.
For real. I cannot remember the last time I saw Naito get dominated by anybody.
This match was like 80-20. Maybe 90-10.
Maybe 85-15.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad, bro. Like, Naito was working from underneath, and his hope spots weren't even that strong. Like,
Right. I mean, like, he would get like one thing in, and then Saber would just like be all over him.
I don't know what the deal was. Like, maybe, I don't know from a story perspective, maybe he just underestimated Zack Sabre Jr. or what the deal is, but bro, Zack tied this man. He do it.
Stretch it, man. Like, got to give me that arm and then you stretch it, man.
Yeah, I mean, Zack kind of came in with the perfect game plan. He didn't try to like outstrike this dude or work in his like wheelhouse of like match flow. He brought it to a grinding halt and just worked his holds, and when the opportunity arose, he started killing his arms first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, his arm holds, some of the stuff he does, I'm like, how does he do that so safely? Like,
Right. Like, how does he not really like
when he bends their arms back and then he stomps on
them?
it.
Yeah.
Oof.
Daniel Bryan used to do that spot too, and there's a couple other guys kind of like in that.
It's a world of sport move, and I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen guys do it for years, but the way he does it, it looks so nasty, and I'm just like, how is he doing that safely, But every time he would wrench a hold on Naito, actually, I was getting nervous the whole night because of how dominant he was against Naito. I was like, well, there's no way Naito's going to lose because he's getting dominated. They're not going to just have him get, like, punished for the majority of the match and then just lose. But I was wrong. Like, where I was shocked was how dominant Zack Sabre Jr. was. And, I mean, this was a huge, huge win for Zack Sabre Jr.
Right. I mean, they legitimized Zack Sabre Jr. this whole tour. All the stuff in the multi-man matches, having Taka constantly cut the promos, and then in this match here, just completely dominating Naito and all the different submission holds. And
Well, I went on Cage Match earlier today because I knew we were going to do the show, and I wanted to look up his match history in New Japan. And Zack Sabre Jr. has only been here a year, but let's go down a rundown of some of the guys that he has beat, and not only beat but like tapped out. Tanahashi. He's beaten freaking Shibata. He's beaten Fale. He got a ref stoppage on Tomohiro Ishii, and now he's tapped out Naito.
so he's had some big
Those
wins.
are big wins, like really big wins.
For real.
For real.
Yeah, for real. And I think something else that we talked about too off air was just the overall presentation of Zack Sabre Jr. in New Japan. In other promotions, Zack Sabre's kind of promoted like this technical wizard, like this super like technical guy,
Like a Johnny Saint or like a Billy Robinson.
And like, to be completely honest, like I like hated Zack Sabre Jr. Like I heard like all this hype about him, and like my first experience, like full match, was like seeing him in the Cruiserweight Classic, and I was not impressed or blown away. I was like not impressed at all until like his final match with who did he wrestle? Did he wrestle
TJP? Grand Metalik?
I think he wrestled Grand Metalik.
Grand Metalik.
And so yeah, that was like
Mascara
Dorada. Yeah, that was pretty much the only match that Sabre had did anything kind of impressive to me. So like when he
I liked the Drew Gulak match. It was good.
I don't know,
It was good.
I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. And so when he first came to New Japan, I was like not excited about it, but they present this guy as a killer. As a guy, he can tap anybody out. He's dangerous. He's not just some technical wizard. He's a dangerous man. If he gets his hands on you, he's going to break you.
I'll say this. I've watched Zack Sabre Jr. for a while. I don't get to see everything on the indies like some of you marks out there. You freaking nerds. No, just playing. We love you guys. But, it's not always easy to get your hands on everything that goes on out there. Like PWG, like unless you're paying a lot of money or you're pirating, like how are you going to find that stuff? But I've seen him have good matches with Chris Hero. I've seen him have good matches with his match in Rev Pro against AJ Styles is really good.
Roddy.
Well, I was going to get to that. That's the match that sold me on him was his matches with Roderick Strong, that series they had in 2016, both the PWG match and the Evolve match, which I actually, the PWG match is more famous, but I'll go to bat for the Evolve match any day. The Evolve match is so much better. It was a legit match of the year candidate. But with that being said, I recognize how good he was, but I never was like bought into the guy. Like I've never like watched him and been like, I cannot wait to see Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle.
Right, yeah.
Like aside from like the Roderick, even the matches that were good, like I don't even like his series with Chris Hero, and they're like critically acclaimed. And I don't know, it has a lot of the indie like tendencies about matches, which like I love indie wrestling, but there's a lot of tendencies where I'm like, I'm not too big on that.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of that stuff in the matches with him and Chris Hero, which I'm like, ugh, whatever. But like you said, since they brought him in here, they have played to the strength that like this is a dangerous guy and he can submit or hurt anybody on any night. It's kind of reminding me in a way of like what they're doing with Shayna Baszler in NXT. Like she's dangerous.
Yeah,
she's different from everybody on the roster.
Yeah, she gets your hand. She's gonna stretch you. She's gonna tap you out, choke you out,
or you're going to sleep.
Yeah,
and that's what it's like with Zack Sabre Jr. And it's another thing too is like he doesn't have a finisher. He's got like 5, 6, or 7 different types of submission holds that can put you out, and they're all as deadly as the next one.
I mean, it's almost more realistic that way, because I mean, if you think about like an MMA fight, like those guys are not going in there if like, oh, I can't wait to like lock my like finisher on. I mean, they're gonna get whatever they can.
That's another thing too. So in some of his indie matches, you see him do devastating like stretches and stuff that you're like, wow, that looks nasty. And then when I saw him in the Cruiserweight Classic, a lot of his offense and a lot of the moves that he did or that they let him do, I don't know, they just didn't look believable. And I remember people being like, this is the World of Sport style, you know? And I was like, nah, I watch World of Sport. Like, this is like a bastardized version of it. It's like not what I remember when I watched like Johnny Saint and like, you know, all these different guys like, I don't know, Rollerball Rocco and stuff.
Yeah, I think in the Cruiserweight Classic they focus more on his escaping ability and the fact of him knowing all these submissions.
They had him doing dazzling moves and stuff, like his escape wrestling stuff, which is cool. It reminded me of like Steve Gray from like World of Sport fame, but he didn't come off as like this killer. But in New Japan, he is wrenching these holds on. It's like, it reminds me of Gentleman Jim Breaks. Like the way he's putting guys in holds, it is scary the way that it looks like it hurts. Like I remember watching him beat Tanahashi and I was like, this man just tapped out the ace. Like when's the last time that Tanahashi tapped to anybody?
Right. I mean, it's almost like a Cena kind of thing. Like Cena like hasn't tapped out since like 06, something like that, to like Angle.
Dude, yeah, we were talking about like Angle in WWE back in like the 2000s. He could tap anybody on any night, and he did. He tapped everybody, and like it's starting to get that way with Zack Sabre Jr. Like he's the guy that can tap anybody. So let's go to this finish here. Basically, you know, Naito basically hit him with the spine buster. He was trying to get a hope spot. Well, Naito escaped an ankle lock, got a desperation German, hit him with the spine buster, and then Zach got the European clutch, and then went for the PK. Got a 2 count, transitioned into a knee bar, and when he got that knee bar, that crossover knee bar, I thought it was over. And Naito desperately struggled. He got to the ropes. Zach held on for 4.
I have till 5.
I got till 5, ref. Zach laid into the kicks. Oh, that was another thing. He was like kicking him in the head and like kneeing him in the head. I was like, dude, this guy is vicious.
Yeah, dude.
Naito fired up, hit a flurry of strikes, went for the enziguri, and he got near fall off the Gloria. He went for the Destino and got countered by a fling forearm. Zach countered the Destino again into that banana split submission.
Oh my god, that's so painful. Like, I've been put in the banana split before, like in amateur wrestling. It is not a fun move to end up in.
And like, we can call this a banana split, but it didn't start off as a banana split. It started off, that's the beauty of his submissions. It's not like he teases them and then puts them on and then they tap out like a regular wrestler, like a Moodalock or something.
Right.
He like works his way into like transitioning into submission holds and grabbing arms and grabbing limbs.
Right. He starts in one position, then he ends up in a completely different one.
And yeah, he wound up in this really, 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 really nasty banana split. And were you impressed that I knew what a banana split was?
Yeah, I was.
We were watching it and I was like, oh my god, he's putting him in a banana split. And Jeremy's like, oh, wow. I know a little bit about wrestling. And he had it in for a long time. Naito kept fighting, screaming, reaching for the ropes, but he kept grabbing the arms, twisting them. And then all of a sudden, like, he just gave up. And like, Red Shoes was doing that whole thing, like, and Red Shoes is the best guy in the business at this, where when guys are about, like, the near tap out, he gets excited.
Yeah, he's like,
and you think they gave up, but they didn't. But it's like he adds drama to it the way he reacts.
Yeah, he's kind of like, I'm gonna stop this match if you don't like respond to me.
But then he did. He like started doing that, and all of a sudden, like, the match ended, and bro, I jumped out of my seat, and I was like, no way,
dude! I thought it was like a ref stoppage. I was like, Naito didn't submit.
I was like, Naito just tapped out. Naito just tapped out, and Jeremy's like,
no. I was like, no, he didn't. No, let's run it back. Let's run it back.
Jeremy's like, no, he didn't. And I was like, bro, I saw him give up.
Oh,
and we ran it back, and then you see him shake his head, and I was like, oh my god, he really tapped out. Like, because I wasn't sure either, and I was like, dude.
Oh man, that was a crazy moment right there.
22 minutes and 45 seconds. I would call this, in my opinion, the second best match of this tournament so far.
Oh, definitely. And I think, it is like a quote unquote upset just because it's Naito, but
it's an upset.
But majority of the people saw it coming. That
Zack Sabre Jr. upsetting Naito, no matter how many people predicted it, it's an upset. No matter like how you what you say.
And then the post match promo, Sabre was like, "Oh, Naito, who's tranquilo now, dickhead?"
You know what else I'll say? Their 14-minute match that they had at the G1 last year is better than this.
Yeah.
So these guys have had 2 really good matches together.
They have good chemistry.
Yeah, he did say that after the post-match. Who's tranquilo now?
Who's tranquilo now, dickhead?
So that puts us in a position now to where, after 3 nights, we've got Tanahashi going against Fale. We got Juice going against Michael Elgin for the A block for the quarters. And then we got Kota Ibushi going against Zack Sabre Jr. And then that brings us to night 4.
Right. We have not watched this night yet, but we have seen the results. We're recording this Monday night. You guys are going to also hear this Tuesday morning. So yeah, we haven't got a chance to watch today's show yet, but we do know the results. And Toru Yano defeated Davey Boy Smith Jr., which I believe majority of you guys...
I think, only like 2 or 3 people predicted Davey Boy.
Rich.
Rich Latta.
So yeah, Toru Yano got the win, and Sanada defeated Chucky T.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at these reviews I've seen, I've heard that the Yano Davey Boy Smith match is pretty bad, actually.
Not a surprise.
We'll have to see it. I mean, some people don't dig the Yano stuff as much as we do, and that the Sonata Chucky T match was just fine. that they worked hard, but like it was never really in doubt, except for like the closing segments seemed like Chucky T might pull the upset. We'll get a full review on that, going forward. We'll probably watch that after this show, actually, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Taking a look at the rest of the card, I don't know. LIJ defended LIJ had a non-title junior tag team match against Narita and Taguchi. They won. Seeing if there's anything else that looks noteworthy. Goto and Yoshihashi had a win over Elgin and Oka. Naito and Bushi defeated Taka Michinoku and Zack Sabre Jr. So, I don't know exactly how that played out, but I'm guessing Naito had to come back looking strong after that tap-out loss.
Yeah.
And Hiroshi Tanahashi was in a multi-man, 10-man tag against Suzuki-gun. So
that's something we didn't talk about. It's the possibility that if Tanahashi wins this thing, he might not challenge Okada. He might challenge Suzuki. And he mentioned that in the press conference.
He did.
That he was having a hard time whether he tries to stop Okada from tying his record or get revenge on Suzuki. And the way the booking is looking, it looks like he's going to win this thing and he's going to challenge Suzuki for the IC title at Sakura Genesis.
Maybe. I think there's two things to kind of keep in consideration. I personally, at this point, and since your bracket is kind of busted, I think maybe, you can kind of weigh in, because obviously what you thought was going to happen is not really going to continue. Obviously, you have Tanahashi going to the finals, so do I. Based on how it's booked now with Zack Sabre Jr. going against Kota Ibushi and Sonata going against Yano, I think we're both kind of in the camp, like Sonata and Toru Yano don't really have a shot, basically, right?
Right.
I think they could maybe go to a finals, but realistically, they're not winning this thing. But I think with the way it is, the only guy on that side I could see winning is Kota Ibushi. So with that being, is that what you would kind of agree with?
Yeah.
So, there have been people that have said this, and I don't know what your thoughts are, but there's people who've said, well, what if Kota Ibushi teaming up with the Bullet Club actually results in them turning on Kota Ibushi and when he gets to the finals, and then they turn on him and kind of turn on Kenny and kick both of them out of the ranks at that point.
That could happen.
So that's a fan theory that I've given a little bit of thought to, and they don't do that kind of storyline all the time, but if let's say Tama Tonga wanted to kind of return the Bullet Club back to its former glory and back to its heel roots, that is one way they could go, kind of screw
screw Kota
out of the title.
Yeah.
But then you also have what if something happens where Suzuki-gun tries to run some sort of interference or do something to Tanahashi? So there's a lot of working parts there. At this point, that's my finals, and I think that's what we're going to see in the finals.
Kota Ibushi against Tanahashi?
I think so. And but I'm not as confident about seeing Tanahashi win as I was before. I think we could see a Kota Ibushi win here.
And Kota Ibushi had been working Okada in multi-man matches.
He did on this night, yeah. Him and Ishii, or Okada and Ishii beat Chase Owens and Kota Ibushi at 9 minutes and 50 via submission. So I'm guessing that means Okada has choked out Chase Owens with the Billion Yen Dream 3 times on this freaking 3 times on this tour, bro.
Oh man, no love for Chase, man.
Hey, give the listeners our prediction about what we're gonna see out of that Billion Yen Dream one of these days.
Oh, that
let's get it on the record now.
Yeah, so we're predicting that at some point Okada is gonna use the Billion Yen Dream and spin it out into a Rainmaker.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the day where that spot. That's a Wrestle Kingdom spot, but I'm telling you, one of these days, or a G1 spot, that man's going to have someone in the Billion Yen Dream, and he's going to spin him out and bring him in for a Rainmaker, and
it's going to be awesome. People are going to
lose their minds. And I want it to be known that on March, what's today's date?
Today's March 12th.
March 12th, 2018. Keepin It Strong Style, the ASA podcast. You heard it here first. We saw this in our mind's eye way before it actually happened, and it will happen. I guarantee you.
I guarantee you.
You can take that to the bank. But Chase Owens has been taking the fall a lot against dang.
Oh man, here we go.
These chicks These chicks be hitting me up, bro. Like, I don't know.
Juicy Juice Josh Robinson over here.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, Ibushi's been working with Okada a lot in this tour. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. But, like, do you have any what are your expectations and anticipations now that we're going into the second round?
Really looking forward to seeing what Saber's going to do next. Really looking forward to Ibushi's next. Well, they're up against each other next, right?
We got Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah.
Did you by any chance catch their G1 match last year?
Yes, I did.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And it was really wrestling centric. I don't know if you remember that. Like, it was not what I expected.
Right.
Because Ibushi didn't do any of the Ibushi stuff he usually does.
Yeah, he was a lot. And I think that was something the commentary pointed out. Like, Sabre made Ibushi wrestle a Sabre match.
It was like a shoot style match.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, too, because at the time, that was coming off the heels of the Cruiserweight Classic, and we all kind of hoped that would be the finals, but obviously they took that away from us.
Yeah.
So we're getting that in the quarterfinals here, and if history repeats itself, that match should be fantastic.
Then Yano and Sonata, I think it's going to be a kind of a comedy match with Sonata trying to get Yano in the Paradise Lock and Yano trying to go for Schoolboys, but ultimately
they had a feud in the past. We've kind of seen this stuff before.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Sonata probably needs to go forward. Right. But if Yano beats him, it doesn't really hurt him because it's Yano and he can upset anybody.
Right. Yano is like the funny version of Sabre, where Yano is dangerous because he can beat anybody with the roll up.
With a special roll up.
Right.
I think he won by count out the first night, though.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm anticipating we get an Ibushi Sonata semifinal.
Right.
And then we got Elgin versus Juice, which I did not expect.
I did not expect either, and I think this is going to be a great, like, test for Juice.
Well, I think we did say on the air last time, like, whether it's Ishii or Elgin, Juice is not going further.
Right.
I mean, I'd be very surprised.
After that first round performance from Elgin, like, I see him going pretty far now.
I think it would be a shame if they had him job after how great that match was, and then like heat this man up and then cool him down like immediately.
Right. Like, you already like made him knock Ishii out. Like, have him go further. And
then we got Tanahashi and Fale. Now, the Tanahashi and Fale matches, that's always good stuff. Could we be looking at an upset? Because we had people who booked their brackets and had Tanahashi losing to Fale in this match.
I mean, at this point, we've seen this tournament, anything is possible. Sabre tapped out Naito. I mean, anything's possible. Yeah, so I mean, it's possible, but I'm anticipating we're going to get an Ibushi Sonata match and an Elgin Tanahashi match. And just like my brackets had before, I think we're getting an Ibushi versus Tanahashi final. Now, I will say this. We're not going to call out any names yet. We'll have to wait to see what happens. But we do have one individual, just one, who sent in a bracket who literally predicted the entire first round accurately. So if things... Now, they might not win because depending on how the second round shakes out, they could still get knocked out. But right now, this looks like the winning bracket that I'm looking at. I mean, I will say this. 45% of our listeners got knocked out in the first round. That's how tumultuous the first round was. So we only have a 55% remaining, and it's probably, in all actuality, with how accurate this bracket is, other people that are predicting the same finale that they are will probably also lose if it happens that way, which I think you and I are in that camp. So we might already have a front runner for our free t-shirt. For our free t-shirt, which I'm a little short on cash, so you probably have to pay for that. All right. So this was a busy week in wrestling. Let's talk about some ROH. Yeah, so we watched the ROH 16th anniversary. We signed up for Honor Club. Do I owe you for that? Yeah. We got the VIP package so we can get the free pay-per-views. We both, well, let's just say this. ROH, if you're listening out there, we both paid for it. We got 2 separate accounts. We're not sharing a joint account. We're good. So, yeah, there was a lot of... Overall, it's a solid show. Really good show. There was a lot of New Japan kind of matches that took place on this card. On the opening match on the main card, we had Hiromu Takahashi taking on Flip Gordon.
Which I heard they had issues with the Honor Club on the live broadcast, and the majority of people didn't even get to see this match.
Yeah, there were some streaming issues. We didn't stream it till the next day, so we had no issues.
Yeah, but we were watching G1s, or I'm sorry, New Japan Cup, so.
Right.
But this match was solid. But I mean, it's Takahashi and Flip Gordon. I really thought it was just the opener. They got like 12 minutes,
right.
But I was expecting something much greater.
I was
than this.
thinking a blow-away, but it wasn't. But it was still good, and I think it's just one of those things where, like, yes, Flip Gordon's awesome, but he's still green, and you kind of saw that in some spots in this match. And also, you can tell like Takahashi was not going like 100%, like. He knew it was like the opening match of like a card, like that wasn't like all that serious. So he was not going full out like the match we just saw with Ospreay.
But we've got essentially Takahashi win over Flip Gordon, 12 minutes, 21 seconds. Marty Scurll was in a match against Punishment Martinez where the winner got a future Ring of Honor World Championship match. And this match was shorter and way better.
Oh, this was a very good match. Sometimes I forget how good like Punishment Martinez is.
He was the star in that match.
Dude, he like over exceeded my expectations once again.
They should have brought him to the
Honor Rising.
To the Honor Rising cards last month because that guy's freaking awesome. Yeah, if you get a chance, 10 minutes, you want to catch a really solid 10-minute match, Marty Scurll versus Punishment.
This match was only 10 minutes?
Yeah, it was only like 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 43 seconds. I think I was like pretty high in that, like 3 3/4.
I was like, about 3 3/4, like 4 maybe.
Kenny King defeated Silas Young to retain the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. We got the Las Vegas street fight between SoCal Uncensored and the Hung Bucks.
This was a very, very good match. I really
That was my match of the night.
Yeah, this easily hands down match of the night. I really, really enjoyed this match. A lot of crazy spots, you know.
Kazarian got busted open.
Yeah, he got busted open.
Scurll got busted open too. There's a lot of blood on this show.
Right, I think because Martinez had like a flip dive and landed on his face.
It was his eyelid or something. Yeah. He was bleeding from it. It was no blade job.
Right. Kazarian took a bump onto the barricades. They set the barricade up like this like table contraption.
I was scared he was gonna get impaled.
Yeah.
By the legs that were sticking out. It always worries me.
Matt Jackson did an elbow drop through a table to, I think it was Scorpio Sky, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Hangman Page had the belt out with the nails and screws and stuff on it.
Yeah. So they ended up getting the win. SoCal Uncensored did when they ended up zip tying
Hangman Page.
And then they ended up just isolating Matt Jackson, putting him in a double submission hold.
Right. Scorpio Sky at first he put on a Dragon Sleeper. Then Kazarian came in and put a Boston Crab on.
Or a sharpshooter. Everyone wants to call every leg hold a sharpshooter. It's a sharpshooter.
And then Scorpio Sky, he transitioned the Dragon Sleeper with the Singapore cane and was choking him out with the Singapore cane. Tap. And then Matt had no choice but the tap.
So SoCal Uncensored are the new champions. I think we all saw the Hung Bucks dropping the 6-man tag with the fact that, Young Bucks are going up to heavyweight and kind of there's all the turmoil going on with Bullet Club. I think this was a foregone conclusion. We forgot to mention Austin Aries showed up on this card.
Right, yeah. The belt collector. He wants to collect the ROH TV Championship. That's the only belt in ROH that he has not been able to capture.
He wants to be a Grand Slam champion out here, Randy Orton.
Yeah. So next we had American.
Well, I thought it was worth noting though. Even though he's not signed to Impact, he's the Impact World Champion.
Right.
So you got the Impact World Champion, who's employed by Don Callis, who is one of the lead commentators
for New Japan,
coming on to a pay-per-view for Ring of Honor and challenging for their television title. I think it's very telling of the climate that we've kind of talked about and the management's opinion and feelings towards working with other companies. So down the road, I'm anticipating some sort of Austin Aries, Kenny King, or whoever the TV champion is, some sort of program between them. Could this potentially lead to an Austin Aries appearance in New Japan?
Maybe. Best of Super Juniors?
No. He's above that now, but like maybe, who knows? I mean, we don't even know what the card is for Strong Style Evolved yet.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah. So that's one thing to kind of, keep in mind.
Yeah. Next we had American Nightmare Cody taking on Matt Taven. Cody defeated Taven and was able to get his Ring of Honor back.
Yeah.
The big thing about this match was the post-match angle. Barry, the drug-free bear, was out there, and
swerve, bro.
Yeah, he came in the ring, and at first it looked like he was celebrating with Cody. Then he pushed Cody down, and Cody was kind of like, what the hell? And then the slow reveal. It was me, Cody. It was me all along. It was the cleaner, Kenny Omega, under the Barry the Drug-Free Bear suit, hit him with a B trigger.
Yeah, the B trigger.
And then Brandy Rhodes locked lips with Kenny. And
the Brandit storyline.
Yeah, she's like
kind of getting paid off.
Yeah, like, you're a fraud. You liked it, didn't you? You're a fraud.
Yeah. So and then he kind of looked confused and went back to the back, and that was pretty much the end of the angle. That was the pop of the night. I mean, those people lost their minds.
Kenny Omega's a superstar, man, and nobody expected him to be at Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Yeah. So I mean. That was pretty crazy. And then
we had the Briscoes defeating Motor City Machine Guns, become the new ROH World Tag Team Champions. Then a great main event for the ROH World Title. Dalton Castle retained against Jay Lethal.
I was a little lower on that match. I don't know why. Everyone seemed to be super high on it, but I wasn't as high as other people were on it. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I still thought it was a solid matchup.
Mm-hmm. And then they ended up finalizing the Women of Honor tournament. Let me see here. Basically, between this and the TV tapings, we're getting a finals of Tennille Dashwood, which is Emma from WWE. She'll be taking on Sumi Sakai in the semifinals, and then Kelly Klein against Mayu Iwatani. So this is the semifinals of a 16-woman tournament. Mayu Iwatani and Sumi Sakai are both wrestlers from Wrestling World of Stardom. So, we've kind of talked about how they're one of the premier Joshi promotions out there, kind of teaming with Ring of Honor. So the fact that we're getting a women's champion in Ring of Honor, I'm wondering if at some point there'll be cross promotion between those two companies. And, we don't have women's wrestling in New Japan. I mean, they have had some women competitors in matches, but it's few and far between. I do wonder if down the line, if there will ever be a time when we see either of those titles, like the World of Stardom title or the Women of Honor title, defended, in a New Japan arena. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Right. I guess we'll have to keep our eyes on that situation.
We will be seeing that on Supercard of Honor, though.
Right. Which we'll be at Supercard Honor. If you guys...
I think we're getting Dashwood against Iwatani in the finals.
Yeah. If you guys are going to be in New Orleans, look out for us at some of these indie shows. We're definitely going to be at Supercard of Honor. So if you run into us there, say hi. We'd love to meet you guys.
So, the next night they had the TV tapings for Ring of Honor. Flip Gordon ended up defeating Scorpio Sky on the first episode. These are spoilers, so if you guys watch the show, I mean, you might want to tune out here. But Daniels and Frankie Kazarian came out. They attacked Flip Gordon, but then the Young Bucks came out and made the save. And then guess what?
The big hug.
But guess what else they did?
What?
They shook hands.
Oh, so yeah.
They shook hands with Flip Gordon. So I'm guessing they haven't been quite there yet, but they're there now, and they hugged. And so it's being announced that the Kingdom will be challenging SoCal and Censored 6-man tag team titles at Supercard of Honor. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
The Kingdom.
Though that's what these notes say. I guess it must have changed throughout the course of the episodes, but whatever. Oh, that's okay. So it had been announced that the Kingdom was going to challenge SoCal Uncensored, but Bully Ray came out, removed them from the match, and he announced that it's going to be SoCal Uncensored against the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon in a ladder match.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense. Okay. So basically we got that. aside from that as well, the Briscoes defeated Dalton Castle and Kenny King in a All Champions Tag Team match. Let me see here. Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega came out and did a promo on one another, which ended in a brawl. Cody ended up shoving Matt Jackson into Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks and Omega teased like they were going to fight one another. So that's a segment that I think I definitely want to check out.
Yeah.
Let me see anything else that's relative. Hiromu Takahashi was on these tapings. He ended up wrestling Frankie Kazarian, beat him clean, 1, 2, 3, clean as a whistle. Also, Cody Rhodes came out and he put the crossroads on Daniels after Matt Taven beat Christopher Daniels. And so Matt Taven wrestled Daniels and Cody in a triple threat. Cody ended up hitting the crossroads on Daniels, but Taven stole the pin from him. And then a new character came out, Bernard the Business Bear.
Yeah, that's Cody's new bear.
So I was going to make a sex joke, but that's kind of weird. So he was ringside with Cody after Omega revealed himself as being Barry the bear. So yeah, I guess we have Bernard the Business Bear, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping this bear business was done, but all right, whatever. Also, the Young Bucks defeated the Kingdom to win a tag team gauntlet match, and they're going to be getting a future tag team title shot against the tag team champions. So that's, they're going up to heavyweight. They're doing big things in Ring of Honor. So here's what we got going on for Super Card of Honor. We have an updated match card, and it is looking freaking stacked. So we're getting Kenny Omega against Cody Rhodes in the main event. Dalton Castle is going to be defending his title against Marty Scurll.
Which I want Marty to win that match.
I don't think he is, but I would love for that to happen. We're getting the 6-man tag team titles between SoCal Uncensored and the Young Bucks and Flip Gordon in a ladder match.
Let's call them the Flip Bucks.
The Flip Bucks. That's got match of the night written all over it.
Oh, yeah. Especially since it's going to be ladder war.
Kenny King's going to be defending his title against Silas Young in a last man standing match. Kota Ibushi will be wrestling Hangman Page. And we have Tomohiro Ishii against Punishment Martinez, plus the finals for the Women of Honor tournament. Generally speaking, they got 7 matches announced. They usually do somewhere between like 8 and 10.
Right.
For this pay-per-view.
Tanahashi is still advertised, so
we might still have a match or two still announced.
We're kind of early predicting, like just guessing maybe Tana versus Jay Lethal.
That would make sense to me.
Since Jay doesn't have a match on the card right now.
I would love that match.
Yeah.
I would love that match. So that's kind of what we got going on with Ring of Honor for the anniversary results, and then also just like the TV tapings. And Super Card of Honor is looking awesome.
Yeah, I'm super happy. I mean, NXT is a solid card too, but I still feel happy with our getting the Super Card of Honor tickets.
Dude, TakeOver does look awesome. I'm not even going to lie. I mean, but that 5-match show, great. But we're going to see Kenny Omega, Tomohiro Ishii, the Ace. We're seeing freaking Kota Ibushi. Like, come on, man.
Those are like once in a life. Like, you don't every day.
When are they coming back to America to work? Well, we might be seeing them sooner than we thought. But
yeah,
still.
we'll get to that in the news.
So, but I thought this Ring of Honor anniversary show was very good. I thought it was better than, what was the last pay-per-view? One they did in New York?
Final Battle?
Yeah, I thought it was way better than Final Battle. Like, way better. So, this is pretty good. I'm glad we got that Honor Club thing. So, yeah, you ready to go into some news?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay, so we've got unfortunate news. We've got a lot of injuries going on right now.
Yeah.
So we got Kitamura. Oh, so you guys might have noticed we did not talk about Kitamura wrestling Manabu Nakanishi.
Right. So Kitamura's injured. He suffered a concussion, and so he's been pulled off this tour, and they're gonna kind of evaluate to see how long he's gonna be out.
Yeah, we don't have a timetable of how long he will be out. I'm wondering if he's coming back, bro. I mean, because the general consensus had been he was going to finish the 7-match series, and then we were kind of thinking he was going on an excursion, but who knows with this injury? I mean, it's terrible timing, but who knows how long he's going to be gone? Yeah. And if he does come back, I mean, the momentum's kind of gone. Are they even going to finish the 7-match series, quote unquote? And if they do, like, how do they finish that out? Because the wind's kind of out of that sail. if they send him, if he gets better and they just send him to America quietly and we don't notice, I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
We might not be seeing Keaton for a few years at this point.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one way that they could handle that. I mean, you think that's the case, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting situation. I guess depending on how, I mean, if he can be back quickly, maybe they do still try and do that 7th match and continue their plans. But if he's going to be out for a while, I mean, I guess you might as well just, as soon as he's clear, just send him on an excursion.
If that's what they're going to do, they might as well he might as well go at this point, because it's like, why bring him back so he can job, so he can go away again? Like, he's already gone. Like, he's out of the public mind right now, and maybe this is the right time to do it. So, yep, that's unfortunate. Keaton got injured on one of the house shows that was unaired. Same thing with Hikuleo.
Yeah, tore his ACL.
Well, they said ACL damage.
Gotcha.
So we don't know what that means, but it can't be good.
Yeah, I mean, ACL, that's not something, even a minor tear or damage, that's not good. That's not something you want.
It's not something he can work through. And a guy his size,
he relies on his knees.
Yeah. I mean, Hikuleo has just started coming to his own. I mean, this is a guy who's been from an uphill battle from day one. I mean, they brought him in with fresh out of wrestling school with a couple matches under his belt,
right?
Literally.
Yeah, and he's been a guy that I've kind of mentioned his improvement every time I've seen him, and I'm thinking by the end of the year, I mean, he could have done something and been really improved. But
the interesting thing is, like, he's improved, but he's still like the worst worker in the company.
Yeah,
and that's not a knock on him, but it just shows you how high the working standard is. I mean, I would rate literally every single young lion above him at this point, and he's still for how green he is and everything, he was looking really good compared to how he looked when he first got in there.
Yeah.
So he's got a natural knack for wrestling.
I mean, he had like the deer in the headlights kind of look when his first couple matches, but after that he was slowly picking it up, and I mean, he was starting to like really, get some ring awareness and some presence in there.
So that's unfortunate. We don't have any update as far as how long he'll be out or how serious this is, but he is injured. Speaking on injuries, Togi Makabe is also injured. He got injured on one of the house shows. Go figure. It's so crazy. These guys are going so hard on these house shows, man. No nights off in New Japan, right?
Yeah, so what was the exact injury he got?
His knees.
To his right knee.
Yeah, his right knee. They just said that they were going to pull him for the rest of the tour and assess how bad it is, and then kind of make an announcement from that point. So we don't have a lot of injury or a lot of information yet, just that he's temporarily on the shelf. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and he'll be back.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and they're going to be evaluating that and seeing if he can be back on this tour or at all in March. But yeah,
so we got Kitamura on the shelf, Hikuleo on the shelf, Makabe coming off that fantastic semi-main event, he's on the shelf, and then we've already talked about the Rey Mysterio injury happening, but we've kind of gotten an update. There's good news and there's bad news. So earlier this week, the report had been that this was just a grade 1 tear to his, I think, left bicep, if I believe it is.
Right.
50-50 shots, one or the other.
Yeah.
But
I think it is the left.
And that when they evaluated him, he was able to do movements that you generally cannot do if it's a serious tear. So it seems like it's going to be something that can just rehab and heal naturally. There's not going to be any surgery necessary. The bad news is earlier today in the Wrestling Observer, they said that the official verdict was that he was expected to be out for a month. So, Strong Style Evolved was like 2 weeks away. And when Dave Meltzer was talking about this, he said that this does not mean that the match is off the shelf. Because they talked to Ray about it, and Ray said something to the degree that, like, it's touch and go, basically. So it's not so serious of an injury that he's off the card entirely, but we just don't really know going forward if that match is realistically going to happen, or if they do, how they're going to work the match if it even does happen.
Right. They might not be able to work as a spectacular of a match as they were hoping to work. They might have to work around that injury. And maybe he can get some advice from Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Or Trent Beretta.
So, I mean, I don't want the guy to work if it's going to be a detriment to his health, but I hope that, I mean, I was looking forward to that match. I want to see it. But, yeah, we got a lot of injuries, and we already talked about Tangaloa basically replacing Kitamura and Hikuleo on the New Japan Cup Tour. One thing that we didn't mention, and I thought that this was worth mentioning, do you think it's suspicious that Tama Tonga is not in this tournament?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, he's not on this tour whatsoever. He's not in the multi-man matches. He's not in the tournament. He's like nowhere to be found. He's not like he wasn't in Ring of Honor at all. Like, where is this man?
There's certain guys that like it makes sense that they're not in the tournament because they're champions, and other guys that are like injured, you know. But as far as like heavyweight wrestlers, I'm just taking a look. I mean, Cody kind of not being in the tournament does make sense, but he's won a mission that I'm like, well, he could have maybe been in the tournament. I'm just kind of looking through here. I'm seeing if there's anybody that I think like should have been in this. Obviously, Kojima's still injured. That's another guy.
Right.
But
like we couldn't have gotten like Tama instead of like Davey Boy Smith or Lance Archer.
I guess Nagata could have been in this, and he's not. But the one guy that really just sticks out to me is like, I think Tama Tonga should have been in this tournament. Like, I'm very surprised that he's not on the tour, so that's something that's kind of strange. But I think when we even started to talk about this preliminarily a few months ago, we were like, I thought Tama was one of the guys that could do well in the tournament, maybe, I don't know, win it. I mean, that's kind of wishful thinking. Realistically, he probably had no shot at winning it. But
right.
I mean,
he'd probably be out in the first round if he wasn't.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know.
Depending on who he was matched up
against. He's a G1 guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he beat Michael Elgin in the G1. That was, like, his biggest win. But, yeah, very strange. Tama Tonga is not in this tournament. So, we got some other news for you guys. So, there was an announcement just literally, like right after we went off the air last week that for the LA Dojo, Katsuyori Shibata is officially the head coach of the LA Dojo, which I'm thrilled about this news.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad that they found a way for Shibata to be able to like continue to contribute to the wrestling business, because it's a shame that he can no longer, perform, but, helping out these young guys, that's going to be really great. And Scorpio Sky is going to be one of the trainers there too, right?
Yeah, so Scorpio Sky is, officially one of the trainers that's going to be there as well. So, that's also like pretty cool. There was news that came out this past week about an event being called Strong Style Saturday, which is going to be like a preview show for the Strong Style Evolved. This is going to be happening on March 24th, so the night before or the day before. And it's a special limited event. It's already sold out as we speak. There was only 200 tickets that went on sale, and from what I understand, the reports are saying that they sold out like in like a minute or something like that, crazy. But it's gonna be held inside the brand new LA Dojo, so it's like the official LA Dojo opening. They're gonna have autograph sessions. They're going to be signing a contract for the IWGP US Heavyweight title match between
Hangman Page and Switchblade Jay White.
Yep. They're going to be having a grand opening press conference, merchandise sales. Special matches will actually be taking place there. This is going to be from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. on March 24th at the LA Dojo. Admission's $30. It's already sold out, but I'm guessing there'll probably be some marks that are like on the outside. Who knows what they'll end up doing? So I mean,
right. And speaking of Strong Style and Strong Style Evolved, there's some new special merchandise that's coming out for the Strong Style Evolved show that will be available at the Walter Pyramid on March 25th. And these are special t-shirts that are commemorating the Strong Style Evolved event. It looks like here there'll be some LIJ stuff, some Juice, some Bullet Club, Tana stuff, Chaos, the Young Boy track suits, it looks like. So
Yeah, and I mean Tanahashi's going to be there. Juice Robinson, Dave Finlay, Jushin Liger, Taguchi, obviously Shibata, Scorpio Sky, different people like that. So I mean, yeah, this looks awesome. If I was in the area, I would definitely go to this event. So, grand opening of LA Dojo. Hey, congratulations once again to Katsuyori Shibata. We are so excited that he's going to be the head coach there and that, he's moving in a positive direction. So that's the news on the LA Dojo and the injuries. Let's talk about being the elite. We got 2 episodes.
elite, the elite. So yeah, so kind of the big things coming out of these. The big things coming out of these episodes was obviously the location of All In. It's going to be in Chicago.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be at the Sears. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I forget the name of the venue.
Yep, so the biggest indie wrestling show ever done in history is coming to Chicago officially. They announced it. I thought it was really funny the way that they did the announcement.
Yeah, they were all like fighting over who gets to announce it, and it ended up being what's homeboy from the Arrow, Stephen Amell.
Yeah,
that got to announce it.
So I mean, if they do a 10,000 seat show, this will be the first time since 2001 that a non-WWE show has drawn that much in the U.S. I think the last one was like Bash at the Beach or something like that, or Halloween Havoc, something like that for WCW, and so it's been a while. And they announced that it's going to be held in Chicago. Kenny Omega is officially announced for it, as well as the Bucks, Cody Rhodes, Hangman Page, Marty Scurll. It looks like Stephen Amell is also announced for this event. The person who is not announced for it is Flip Gordon,
right?
As
Flip,
we discussed earlier.
Yeah, Flip wants to be All In, and I'm sure there's going to be some storyline that leads to him finally getting booked, especially being partners with the Young Bucks for Supercard of Honor. And then also coming out of being the elite, we had the confrontation between Hangman Page and Joey Ryan. Hangman Page invaded bar wrestling and called out Joey Ryan and was pretty much, doubting the powers of Joey Ryan's dick.
I have it. So the self-financed event will be taking place September 1st at the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois, which does have a max capacity of 11,800 people. The group announced on being the elite this week via video from Arrow, Stephen Amell. So Stephen Amell was the one who actually made the official announcement, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And so I mean, I'm very, very excited for that. I don't really remember everything else that happened on that episode aside from the fact that they announced All In. Do you remember?
I think that was the biggest thing in that. And then, like I was saying on this past episode, Hangman Page was invaded bar wrestling.
Well, because they were teasing that they're going to go to bar wrestling, which is
Joey Ryan's promotion.
So, they went there. Today, they just dropped the newest episode, so they invaded bar wrestling. And, I don't know, Jeremy, what do you think about this?
Honestly, I'm going to say this right now. Like, I'm not a fan of, the whole, Joey Ryan, dick flipping stuff. And, that's just not my thing. If you like that, that's cool. Good for you. I'm not a fan of, the dick suplexing, the dick spot. And, this was kind of entertainment, just the whole invasion and challenge thing, but overall I could really care less about Joey Ryan and the battle of the dicks between Joey Ryan and Hangman Page and making Hangman drink piss and it was really weird.
I don't know. Sometimes we were oh, the Bull Clubs jumped the shark. But sometimes nah, they're what they're doing is fantastic. And then sometimes I see this sort of storyline, and I'm oh damn.
Goddamn video game wrestlers making them drink pee and grabbing dicks. Goddamn.
I do think it's awful, to be honest with you. I'm just dude, why are we sure for a comedy sequence, sure, it's funny, the fact that Hangman is so threatened by this dude who's got this like ultra powerful penis or whatever.
Right.
And I get it, but dude, this is like worse. This is like as bad as some of the crap that we used to see during the Attitude Era. That was like on the that was on the crappy episodes of like Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, like choppy.
Yeah, like choppy PP. Like this sucks. Like, and I think they're just building to a match at All In September is what this is really building to. But and I get it, but all these marks that are like putting their stamp of approval on it, they're like, yeah, this is awesome, the Elite, yeah. And I'm like, dude, this is ruining wrestling. This is awful.
Yeah.
And then other people are like, oh, well, wrestling's fun. You don't get it. And I'm like, well, I do get it. And this is like literally like the kind of crap that like I don't want to show anyone else.
Right. Like
it's embarrassing.
I would not want like invite like a girl over to watch wrestling and then freaking Joey Ryan's out there flipping people with his dick. Like, no.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really feeling it. I think it's terrible. We did get the storyline where Cody called Nick Jackson over to and basically he's like, hey, I just want to talk to you one-on-one. He was like, have you ever thought about singles?
Yeah. He's like, haven't you noticed that, Matt's,
He's like, you're the Robert Gibson.
Yeah.
He's like, you're the Shawn. He's like, Matt's always hurt, man.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, he got a back injury. I'm like, yeah, exactly. He's like, you know what you should think about? Singles.
He's like, singles? He's like, yeah, singles.
Which makes me like go back to one of your theories. Like, is Cody like secretly like trying to destroy the Bullet Club? Because why would you try to break up the best tag team? I don't know if he's
just an evil idiot.
Yeah.
And like he just doesn't know how to help himself. All he can do is be destructive. Or if like he's just a super genius and like this has been his plan all along to like destroy the Bullet Club. And it's starting to feel like that's the way that they're like turning the story because he's like breaking everybody apart basically.
Yeah.
So I mean he's causing a lot of discord. So it's very, very, very interesting. But that was pretty much they showed the confrontation between him and Kenny. Kenny ended up hitting him with the knee, and they kind of talked about how Flip's still not on All In. So nothing major there. But I think the news that All In is at the Sears Center in Chicago. I mean, we've been wondering about this. This is a self-financed project that these guys are putting on, and I'm like, well, it's in Chicago. That's not that bad of a drive.
Yeah.
I've made that drive plenty of times. I mean, 14 hours? Not bad. You can get out there.
I want to be all in.
I'm ready to go all in, baby. Especially if the card looks good.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Oh, speaking of which, okay, not that this is related to New Japan, but okay, CM Punk was officially like confirmed to be wrestling, or I'm sorry, might as well be wrestling because it's all the same crap anyways, but he will be fighting at UFC 225, which is in June. And it is believed that it's in Chicago. I think it's at the Sears Center as well, but he's fighting in, it's the Prudential Center. I don't know, it's one of those places, but he's fighting. It is believed this is going to be his final like MMA fight. Mm. And September is right around the corner, man. Just throwing that out there. I don't know. He might be all in.
Yeah.
He might be all in. You know what I would love? I would love if they brought the Super Indies back together.
Who are the Super Indies?
Oh no, the Mega Indies. When Punk and Brian used to tag team together.
Oh, they were called the Mega Indies.
Well, no, just me, Rich, and James called them. No, the Indie Powers. That's their name. We call them the Indie Powers. They were the Macho Man and the Hulk Hogan of the Indies.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I love the Indie Powers. I want the Indie Powers.
Punk and Brian versus Young Bucks.
Young Bucks versus the Indie Powers.
Yeah.
I would love that match. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. Also, if you guys get a chance, there is a change.org petition. There's a change.org petition that's out there on the internet. You can find it where someone submitted this to try to get Don Callis and freaking Kevin Kelly officially set up to do the commentary for Strong Style Evolved. I think they got quite a few signatures, but if you haven't had a chance to sign it, go out there and use change.org for what it was intended to really make the world better. And go ahead.
I signed the petition.
I signed it. I'm all in. But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about some of this other news. So Y2J.
Right. Somebody tweeted to him asking him if he was done with New Japan. I think he said something like, I guess, unfortunately I am, or something like that, he said.
Yeah. He said, unfortunately, he is. So, does this mean Y2J is not coming back?
Or is he working us?
Or are we getting worked by the master worker?
Are we getting got?
Well, there is a report that came out earlier today that we talked about earlier that we thought he was potentially going to be working the...
Dominion?
No, for WWE.
He might be working the 50-man Rumble.
Well, before that, he was supposed to be working the
UK tour.
The UK tour. We haven't heard anything else on that, but the reports today is that he's expected to be wrestling in Abu Dhabi for the greatest Royal Rumble, quote unquote.
Right.
The 50-man Royal Rumble. I don't know how that would play into his potential dealings with New Japan. That does start to give me a sinking feeling in my stomach that's like, he might not be coming back.
Right. Vince put a stop to that. Goddamn, pal.
Yeah. and maybe how I was saying that I didn't think he was coming back, and you guys were all like, oh, he's coming back. And then he cut that promo or that angle at New Year's Dash, and I was like, dang, I guess he is coming back, but I don't know. It's starting to look like after the Raw appearance, if he's going on this greatest Royal Rumble, if he's doing the UK tour, and now he's like telling people, but who knows? Maybe I'm just getting worked again.
Right.
Maybe I'm just getting worked by Chris Jericho, like I always do. But I'll be really disappointed if Chris Jericho doesn't come back and work
and not
Naito.
freaking blow off this Naito thing. Yeah.
Because I mean that was an awesome angle, and I mean I expected there to be a payoff to it, and if there's no payoff, I mean what was the point? So, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of... You know what's funny? At the beginning of the week, this was the biggest news. And since everything else that's happened between now and then, it's like this kind of fell off to the side. Like, no one's talking about it.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe this just sets up an opportunity for Y2J to come in and
surprise us again.
Do you think that's what's happening?
That's a high possibility.
What do you really think is going to happen?
I mean, I'm still holding out hope that it's Naito and Jericho at Dominion.
I am too, but I kind of think he's done.
I don't know.
He's a Vince guy. And so I was surprised we got the first match in the first place.
He's a get that money guy.
Yeah, he is. So, I mean, that's something to keep your ears and eyes peeled and open for, right. Because Y2J might be done. We might not be seeing... we might not be seeing the New Age Terry Funk in New Japan for a while. Some other news, just a couple little tidbits before we go here. So, Taiji Ishimori, who is of Noah fame, he was the recent TNA X Division champion. He just dropped the title to Matt Sydal on the TV tapings, and he has officially, as of yesterday, announced that he is going free agent. He has parted ways with Pro Wrestling Noah, and he has intentions to be on the international scene. He specifically mentioned New Japan Pro Wrestling, who he has worked for in the past, but only in a young boy gimmick type capacity, as being one of the destinations that he would like to potentially work for. So this guy's freelancer now, and he is an awesome talent.
I mean, this is just in perfect time for Best of the Super Juniors.
Yep, it is. If they were going to bring him in, this is the perfect time. And he's talking about, coming to America and coming to Europe. So, I mean, he's seeing, it is interesting. Like, he had a signed deal with, Impact and with Noah, and he's kind of taking a gamble and a risk. And he said he has to take a risk to establish himself on a bigger worldwide stage. So, I mean... Yeah, this international scene is just blowing up now, man.
Yeah, I mean...
Guys are seeing a lot of opportunity to make money.
Right.
Speaking with that, there is a big match that was recently announced. Pete Dunne, who is the WWE UK champion, will be fighting Marty Scurll, who, by the time this match happens, might be the Ring of Honor World Champion. As crazy as that sounds.
That'd be crazy.
They're going to be wrestling a match in Toronto on April 29th for the group Destiny, which I think they already did a match between Pete Dunne and they did one with him and Aries earlier this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these guys...
Isn't Aries Destiny champion? Is that one of the belts he has?
He's got the Defy Wrestling or Defiant, whatever what culture is now.
Gotcha.
He's got that. He's got the one from... Australia. He's got the Impact title, and he's got the IPW title. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. So if you're in Toronto, those tickets, I don't know when they go on sale, but that might be something worth checking out. Some other big New Japan news. So Kazuchika Okada has broken another IWGP record. He is officially the longest reigning IWGP champion for a single title reign in history. And also, not only that, he is the single longest title reign of any titleist in the history of that entire company. He is currently, as of the time of this recording, at 631 days straight.
That's insane.
So, I mean, the next closest title reign was Hiroshi Tanahashi's reign with the now defunct it was the U90 or the U50. I forget what that title was called, but it's a defunct title, and it was kind of like a secondary main event title that was supposed to. Here, I'll look it up. The U30 Openweight Championship. He held that title for. Let me see here. 622 days. He held it from April 23rd, 2003 till January 4th, 2005. So that's the second longest single title reign. And, it doesn't look like Okada's losing the title anytime soon. So, I mean, that's just showing you how legendary this dude is.
Yeah, dude, this reign's gonna go on forever.
Forever. If you guys have never seen the Terry Funk Forever clip, just do yourself a favor right now and go online and look up Terry Funk Forever. Also, New Japan has officially announced the first ever international DVD distribution deal. They've never released DVDs outside of their native Japan, and they have plans to, release DVDs, I believe, in Europe, the UK, America, Australia. So this is just another step in their international expansion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be great. It's a great move for them. I mean, especially for those people who are still on the fence about signing up for New Japan World, this could be a great way to expose more people to the product.
Yeah, so we already have New Japan World, but if you want to, I'm not sure what kind of DVDs they're going to be releasing.
Right, maybe they do some documentary kind of stuff. Hopefully,
I mean, I would love that because that's kind of what's lacking on there. We don't have enough of that right now, so
yeah.
So that would be really, really, really good. But aside from that as well, we have the announcement this past week that CES and New Japan Pro Wrestling are going to be doing a crossover event in June of this year.
Yeah, so I saw Kenny Omega retweet this, and he was really excited about this crossover event. It's a video game company, but they're doing a live wrestling show, and this is happening in Daytona Beach, Florida, which is not too far away from us, Josh. So sounds like we're going to New Japan June 29th.
Well, the CES is the Consumer Electronics Show, but it's the annual trade show organized by Consumer Technology Association. It's usually held in January at the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. So it's a technology, but it's really big because of it's kind of like E3. It's this huge gaming expo essentially. That's why if you follow Kenny Omega, he's just a total nerd gamer, and so he's talked about having to miss this before, during the G1 and things like that, because I don't know if they just have one annual show or if they do several of them, but yeah, they're partnering with New Japan. I don't know if this has anything to do with the Fire Pro
game. Yeah, it was possible. And so I guess this guy Alex Shabailey, he's I guess the CEO of this company, or a member of the CEO Fighting Championship game company, and he said that this is a live wrestling event at the Ocean Center on Friday, June 29th. Tickets will be available in April. Pre-sale and show discount for CEO 2018 registrants. Affordable general admission and show card revealed at a later date.
That's my bad. I gotta retract that. I said CES, which is a totally different trade show. So CEO is a fighting game championship. They actually had what's his face from the New Day?
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods has been part of that like the pageantry and stuff with that in the past. So has Kenny Omega. So, I mean, this is kind of like a step in a new direction. But, yeah, they're going to be having tickets on sale in April. We don't know, when. They said people that are already registered for the event will have first come, first serve.
Right.
So, that makes me a little nervous because I really, really, really want to go to a New Japan event in Daytona. I mean,
right.
It's right by us.
Maybe we need to register for this CEO event then.
I don't know if I can take off the time for work to do that. Or if I can afford to go to it. Or if I even care that much about like Marvel versus Capcom or Killer Instinct. I mean, that's cool and all, but I'm not trying to like spend days watch competitive video gaming. I want to watch wrestling.
I want to watch the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
So there was also recently there was an interview that Tetsuya Naito did with Tokyo Sports. Shout out to our friends at the Lion's Mark for giving us the translation. But recently Tetsuya Naito, who was knocked out of the New Japan Cup, but he had some really good points. He had some very harsh criticisms of the New Japan Cup for the third straight year in a row. He called them out for their choice of giving the winner the tournament shot at any champion that they wanted, but talking about how stupid it was because everyone's going to choose the IWGP title no matter what.
Right.
So they needed to change the entire tournament format and maybe include the other champions in the tournament to actually make it a worthwhile tournament, which makes a lot of sense to me.
Right, and also if you did it that way, you could set up contender matches. You have the champions go far in the match into the tournament, but then have them get beat, and that's how you get their number one contenders for Sakura Genesis.
He also he said that he thinks the tournament format is stupid. This was another interview that happened at his famous family restaurant that he is so fond of and likes to frequent. And he said, what's the point of having 16 competitors if only 3 or 4 of them can actually win the tournament? What's the point?
Yeah.
And he was like, at this point, that Naito, Sanada, Ishii, Tanahashi, or Ibushi are the only guys that can win the tournament. So why have 16 competitors to begin with? He's like, I want to ask a few of these guys, how many times have you wrestled in New Japan this year? So I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, shooting shots.
And last year when he was the IC champion, he asked to be in the tournament. They wouldn't let him in. He said, because the current tournament format, champions aren't in the tournament. But he's like, there's also other title challengers who are not in the tournament. He's like, there's no Kenny Omega. There's no Cody. And he's like, what's the point if you don't have the best guys being in it? What does this tournament even really mean if the guys that are in it are subpar? I was like, ugh. And then he said, he's like, I'm in this, I'm looking to win it, but I heard there's some other wrestlers out there who are only looking to beat me, referring to Ibushi. And he's like, isn't this getting out of control? This used to be an open weight tournament before, but now we only see heavyweights. He's like, where's the juniors? He's like, where are the other guys getting an opportunity to step up? And after complaining about the cup, he insisted that we cover the bill that was sent to him by Taichi earlier. He was very upset. And he said, how could you guys just let Suzuki-gun pull that? I can't believe you guys call yourself press. He avoided paying the bill again, and on this day as well, he also claimed, I want proof that you paid today, and as a sign of good faith. He left for his home satisfied after leaving the receipt with Tokyo Sports Press.
Oh, man. Tranquilo.
So I think he was referring to a special interview that was done by Ibushi. You actually have to pay to see that. I haven't seen any transcriptions of that interview, but Ibushi did a special interview recently talking about the reformation of the
Golden Lovers.
His dreams and aspirations for this tournament going forward, and the beef that he apparently has with Naito, which I wasn't even really aware of, but we're not going to be getting that match anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter at this point. And then the last bit of news is the Australia shows are officially up on New Japan World.
Yeah, they're all up there. So far, we've only had a chance to watch the main event from Adelaide, the Young Bucks against Ishii and Okada.
Really good match.
Solid match.
Really fun match.
Right. I don't know if we'll get a chance to check out any of that other stuff.
We will.
We will. I just don't know when. There's so much New Japan Cup stuff. Strong Style Evolved. We got Honor Club now, so we'll be watching some Ring of Honor stuff. So
that's it for the news. That's everything that I got. This is a stacked week. We've had 5 New Japan shows like back to back. We got more coming on the horizon. We're only 4 nights through. We got 5 more nights to come. Plus we got Strong Style Evolve, plus Sakura Genesis, plus WrestleMania.
That rolls right into WrestleMania weekend.
Super Card of Honor's on its way.
Yeah.
So, this is a stacked time of the year, guys.
Yeah, we're going to be exhausted.
I'm loving it, dude.
I'm loving it too. Next week we'll be back with more New Japan Cup coverage. Thank you once again for listening and downloading another week of Keeping It Strong Style. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, I'm at Jeremy L. Donovan. The show is at KI Strong Style. And Social Suplex is at Social Suplex. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/Social Suplex. You can join our Facebook group, the Wrestling Squared Circle, facebook.com/groups/Wrestling Squared Circle. A lot of great conversation that goes on in there. Also, we're on Reddit. I am the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. And make sure you check out the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio, One Nation Live, hosted by James Boyd and Rich Latta. The SMC Wrestling Podcast with Rance, Caleb, and Carl. And the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. And until next time, goodbye and good night. Bang.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.